मालूम है? अरे भाई, ग्रामीण इलाकों में सड़क बनाने का निर्णय बच्चे हो जान लो, ये निर्णय कौन लिया? श्रद्धेय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी की सरकार ने लिया। और आपको मालूम है, हम अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी की सरकार में थे। आज जब हम अलग हो गए थे जनता दल से, जौहर साहब के साथ, और बाद में आप कितना मानते थे? बताइए। अरे अटल जी, जान लो जरा सा, अटल, श्रद्धेय अटल जी, लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी और मुरली मनोहर जोशी जी, ऐसा केंद्र में थे। मालूम है, बच्चे हो जान न लो जरा जी। ये बैठ करके उस समय की सरकार ने तय किया, अटल जी की सरकार ने तय किया कि हम लोग पूरे बिहार में गांव में पहुंचाएंगे। ये उस समय हम लोग उनके साथ थे, और सारा काम जो शुरू करवाया गया, सब कुछ, और एक एक चीज शुरू किया गया उसी समय। ये कोई आज की सरकार का नहीं है कुछ। और आप जान रहे हैं हम काहे अलग हुए 13 में जी? हमको कितना मानते थे? सब लोग, तीनों लोग, सारे नेता, जो सबसे बड़े नेता थे।
After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement, and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted, and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
Going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodia, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodia has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
तुमको केंद्र वाला देगा। ये जरूर करो, जरूर करो। और जब जगह मिलेगा हमको अच्छा लगेगा कि कम से कम मिले। और आप सब लोग एक बात अच्छी तरह जान लीजिए, एक बार अच्छी तरह जान लीजिए, हमने कितना आप सब लोगों का ख्याल रखा। हमारे पार्टी के सब लोगों ने समझ लिया कि ये लोग सारे लोग, अब आप चले गए अच्छा है, आप थोड़ी विरोध करिएगा। आप ये ना बताइए 7 पार्टी इधर है, एक पार्टी भी समर्थन कर रहा है, 8 पार्टी, तो आप लोग न जाइएगा, नहीं तो कुछ है आपका, कुछ है, इसलिए भाग रहे। आज जब कहा गया होगा, ऊपर से कहा गया होगा, इसलिए भाग रहे हैं आप लोग, तो आप लोगों में से किसी न किसी को जगह मिलेगा। तो ये सब काम जो हो रहा था, इसी के चलते तो हमको छोड़ना पड़ा। हम जो 17 में छोड़ करके गए और इन लोगों ने जो कोई काम नहीं किया और हम लोगों को नाश करने लगे, हमारे पार्टी के तमाम लोग भीतर से बोलने लगे और अंत में हम लोगों ने तय किया, आप सब लोगों से बात होती थी और ये जब तय हो गया कि हम लोग जो पहले जहां थे वहां पर चले जाएं, अब एक साथ हम आ गए, हम तो आपसे इन लोगों से अलग हुए, आप कोई सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता है। और अब हम लोगों का संकल्प है कि हम लोग मिल करके पूरा काम करेंगे, बिहार बहुत आगे बढ़ेगा। और हम लोग सब लोगों से अपील कर रहे हैं, देश भर से कितने विभिन्न प्रांतों के विभिन्न दलों के लोगों ने फोन किया है हमको कि ठीक किया, ये निर्णय लिया, और हमने कहा सब मिल करके लड़िएगा, एक साथ होकर के लड़िएगा, तो 2024 का जो चुनाव का रिजल्ट होगा।
This is going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodia, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodia has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline Hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline Hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement, and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking
इन लोगों का काम है सिर्फ और सिर्फ झंझट पैदा करना समाज में, और जब सब एकजुट होकर के रहेंगे तो उसके बाद इनको कोई नहीं पूछेगा। और याद करिए, जब आजादी की लड़ाई हुई थी उस समय की स्थिति को पैदा करिए फिर से। अब इतना दिन हो गया, 75 साल हो गया, तो नई पीढ़ी के लोग भूल जाते हैं। इसलिए तो हम कहते हैं, आप जानते हैं, हम तो पूरे बिहार में बापू का एक एक चीज हम लोग स्कूल हर जगह पर पहुंचा करके, और जो आजादी की लड़ाई में जो हुआ उन सब लोगों की बात को पहुंचाने का हम काम कराते रहते हैं, ताकि नई पीढ़ी के लोग एक एक चीज को जाने। नहीं तो ये लोग अपना बात खाली चलाएंगे, धीरे धीरे सबको खत्म कर देंगे। अभी तो नई आज चीज है ये ना, ये सब जितना सब चीज आ गया है इसी को देखते हुए, और फिर अब तो कितने ज्यादा आप प्रेस वाले भी जो इंडिपेंडेंट रहते थे अब क्या बोले, यहां अंदर अंदर उसमें क्या क्या किया जा रहा, ताकि एक तरफा सब अब जो मन करे जितना दुष्प्रचार करें, लेकिन हम लोग मिल करके काम करेंगे और पूरे देश में सब लोगों को एकजुट करेंगे, फिर आगे मौका नहीं मिलेगा। और ये लोग भाग गए हैं, इस लोग इसलिए भाग गए हैं कि सुनना नहीं चाहते ना। अब समझ लीजिए सच्चाई बात है, सच्ची बात को सुन करके नहीं जाना चाहते। हम मेरे सामने कितना बात बोल देते थे, लेकिन फिर भी वहां से आकर के बोला जाता था। आप बताइए ना, जब इन लोगों की मीटिंग हो रही थी क्या नहीं हुआ, हमने तो सबको साथ दिया। एमपी के चुनाव, एमपी कह रहे हैं इसके चुनाव में, राष्ट्रपति के चुनाव में, उपराष्ट्रपति के चुनाव में सब कुछ कर दिया। हमारे लोग सब बोल रहे थे नहीं भाई एक बार कह दिया है, मुझको फोन आया, हम उस समय नहीं, उसके बाद ही हम लोगों ने सब आपस में बातचीत और तय किया कि आगे हम लोग एकजुट होकर के चलेंगे और अपने बिहार में, और जब सब लोग मिल करके चलेंगे तो आप जान लीजिए कि कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है। इस साथ में थे, अब जो सरकार में थे तो कैसा कैसा प्रचार करते।
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted, and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out incidences.
और मौका मिलेगा तब इनको तो हम एक एक चीज इनको हम बता देते कि क्या हो रहा था जी। लेकिन चलिए, तो अब इनको जो इच्छा हो, अब कोई सवाल नहीं, और आगे इनको ठीक ढंग से पता चलेगा। और आप जान लीजिए हम तो आप लोगों के साथ हैं, हमको भले ही आज हम हैं, लेकिन इसका मतलब यह नहीं है कि हमको व्यक्तिगत कुछ इच्छा है। हमारी एक ही इच्छा है कि सब एकजुट होकर के बिहार को आगे बढ़ाएं और देश को आगे बढ़ाएं। हम सबका साथ देंगे। तो आप सब लोग मिलकर के आ गए, अभी बहुत खुशी की बात है। इसलिए अब यही कहेंगे हम कि आप सब लोगों से, और अनुरोध करेंगे कि जो हम लोगों ने अपना प्रस्ताव रखा है, और उस प्रस्ताव को सब लोग मिलकर के इसको पारित करिए। तो भागिए गए, अपना देख न लिए, भाग गए, नहीं तभी रहते, तभी तो हम और इनको।
Exclusive coming in on the land for job scam.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful
Republic with the biggest expose in the Jharkhand illegal mining scam. We show how the proceeds of crime were laundered. Republic investigation reveals how Jharkhand Chief Minister aide Pankaj Mishra used his influence to control the mining business. Raids, protests, showdown with 5 top RJD leaders under the radar. It's an action-packed trust vote day in Bihar. It's a mega exclusive. Indian Army foils Pak terror bid. Republic breaks Pak terror tape. Even Jaivir Shergill dumps the Vadra Congress, resigns as Congress national spokesperson. And deceased BJP leader Sonali Phogat's family alleges foul play in her death, claims she was poisoned. All right, a breaking news development coming in, this time from Bihar and in connection with the land for jobs scam. Republic accesses sensational land gift deeds. In fact, Lalu aide Bhola Yadav, who's already in custody, is signed as witness in every deed. Remember, he's already in custody. This is in black and white. Rabri also signed on the land deed, and this is essentially Lalu aide facilitating the land for job scam. To get jobs in railways, hand land to Lalu's family. That was the scam. If you wanted, when Lalu was railway minister, back in the UPA government, he would be taking money in the form of land, and he would be taking land and giving jobs, and that would be facilitated by the likes of Bhola Yadav, who's already in custody. Lalu aide Bhola Yadav signing on those deeds. That's something which is coming out in this explosive revelation from the investigation. So we'll try to get Shawan Sen and Prakash Singh live with us. It's connected with Bihar. Shawan, of course, bringing in the information. Let's go to a report on the special investigation and the documents, and then we come back to the lives.
CBI raids in the scam where about 1.5 lakh square feet land was acquired by Lalu and family were on. The allegations are of Group D jobs being allotted in lieu for land when Lalu Prasad was railway minister. 3 top RJD leaders faced raids on their residences. Tejashwi Yadav is trying to brazen it out in the assembly.
मतलब आप भाजपा के साथ रहिएगा, हाथ मिला लीजिएगा तो राजा हरिश्चंद्र बन जाओगे, और हाथ नहीं मिलाइएगा तो भ्रष्टाचारी, क्रिमिनल, रेपिस्ट, और पीछे ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स को लगा दिया जाएगा। अब आप बताइए कि पूरी तरीके से बेबुनियाद आरोप हम लोगों पे लगाया गया, और एक नया चीज आप फिर लेकर के आ गए हैं। अब ये IRCTC का मामला, नौकरी जमीन का मामला।
But now Republic Media Network has accessed the gift deeds, which only goes on to show that Rabri Devi and Heba Yadav were direct beneficiaries of the land that was acquired through these gift deeds. The entire modus operandi has now been revealed with the documents accessed by Republic Media Network, which shows that undeserving candidates who had basically applied for Group D and Group C appointments in the railway department were basically given jobs in lieu of land that was given in the name of Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members. In fact, some of the documents accessed by us shows that land parcel worth about 62 lakh rupees was handed out to Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members for just about 4 lakh rupees. And this was not just one such case. There have been multiple such cases where land parcels were gifted to his family members at throwaway prices.
Meritorious job seekers lost out. One family allegedly gained acres and acres of land, and the country suffered. The land for job scam cannot be brushed aside anymore. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, big revelation. Lalu Prasad Yadav, when he was railway minister, his minions were involved in a land for jobs scam, trading land or buying land in lieu of giving jobs, no money exchanged. Prakash Singh joins us live from Patna. I believe he has a guest with him. Prakash, though this of course dates back to the UPA era, I believe BJP would be more than willing to speak about the time when, according to them, corruption reigned supreme in the railways when Lalu was heading the ministry.
Yes, Abhishek, the raids were conducted at various places in Bihar and specifically people having allegiance to the RJD. And I can say that it was predictable. We were all predicting that the raids would happen at some point of time with a change of government, and that's become the new normal as of now in politics in India. So, as far as this land for job scam is concerned, we had carried out mega sting operation and stories in 2017, and gifts in the form of lands were given to the family members of Lalu Yadav and his kith and kins, and Bhola Yadav, as a part of that, was arrested by the CBI very recently as he was witnessing most of the gifted lands. And another case is IRCTC scam case in which land for hotel scam was there, and in that we could see that there is a pattern that at the behest of Prem Gupta, who apparently became an approver also later, and various other people, certain shareholdings of the companies were transferred in the name of Tejaswi, Tej Pratap, and apparently some signatures on the check of Tejaswi were also recovered during the 2017 raid. And as a part of that, two railway employees who had gifted land, one in the Vidhan Parishad also, and there are various other parcels of land that has been unearthed by the CBI. And as a part of that, the raids were conducted at Sunil Singh's residence, Subhash Yadav, Abu Dozana, and various other people in Patna and at various locations, which goes to show and establish the fact that there is some corroborative evidences as far as Bhola Yadav's arrest is concerned. And this is a part of the confessional statement that may have been made by Bhola Yadav, because he has been one of the prime witness and suspect. I'm joined by Nitin Naveen, who is the former road construction minister of Bihar, as well as the senior BJP leader. आज जो रेड्स हुए हैं बिहार में घोटाले को लेकर, लैंड फॉर जॉब स्कैम और IRCT स्कैम, तो इससे क्या माना जाए कि ये महज संयोग था कि आज ट्रस्ट भोज था और साथ साथ रेड्स भी हो रहे हैं?
देखिए, एक बड़ा स्पष्ट समझने की बात है, ये पूरे चीज़ के घटनाक्रम पहले से चल रहा है और CBI तो कोई समय और लगन देख के तो करेगी नहीं। वो तो जो आरोपी हैं, जो लगातार इसमें संलिप्त रहे, उन पर परत दर परत कार्रवाई तो होगी। अब इस कार्रवाई से बेचैनी किसी को हो रही है तो वो तो उस दिन सोचना चाहिए था जिस दिन उन्होंने कांड किया था, जॉब फॉर ज़मीन का घोटाला किया था, उस दिन तो उनको ये ध्यान में आया नहीं। और आज कह रहे कि नहीं, दिन देख के नहीं। कल तक ये कहते थे कि हम विपक्ष में है इसलिए काम हो रहा है, आज आप सत्ता में हैं इसलिए कह रहे कि हम सत्ता में आ गए इसलिए काम हो रहा है। तो जो आप गुनाह किए हैं उसके लिए आपको माफ़ कर दिया जाए। और सबसे बड़ी बात, आरोप लगाने वाला कौन था? जो आरोप लगाने वाला व्यक्ति था और आरोपी के साथ मिल गया तो क्या सब कुछ खत्म?
जेडीयू ने आरोप लगाया था लैंड फॉर जॉब, ललन सिंह, अब वही अब क्लीन चिट दे रहे हैं लालू यादव
कि जो लोग आरोपी थे या जिन्होंने आरोप लगाया, दोनों मिल गए तो क्या आरोप खत्म हो गया? जनता के डोमेन में आ चुका है, पब्लिक जानती है और जो गुनाह किया है वो बचेगा नहीं। अब आरोपी और आरोप लगाने वाला मिल भी जाए, लेकिन न्याय की अदालत में निश्चित रूप से जो गरीब का पैसा लेकर जॉब दे रहा था वैसे सारे लोग को।
लेकिन तेजस्वी यादव ने अपने भाषण में कहा कि भारत सरकार के 3 जमाई, ED, CBI, इनकम टैक्स, ये क्या सच है?
देखिए, जो लोग चोर होते हैं, जो लोग चोर मौसेरे भाई का एक कहावत है ना कि जो रहेंगे वो। आपको क्यों डर लगता है ED और CBI से? हमको तो नहीं डर लगता है ED और CBI CID से। आपको क्यों डर लगता है? आप ही के घर में क्यों दस्तक देता है? आज से नहीं, कांग्रेस के समय से ये चलता आ रहा है। तो जब इस कांग्रेस तो CBI के आपके उस समय था जब आप पर चारा घोटाला था, उस समय कौन था?
लेकिन वो आरोप लगाते हैं कि बीजेपी के किसी नेता के यहाँ ED, CBI, IT नहीं पहुंचती है, वो तेजस्वी यादव बोलते हैं।
क्या आप घोटाला कीजिए, घर में मेरे CBI आएगा क्या? करिएगा जमीन फॉर जॉब घोटाला आप, कहिएगा नितिन नवीन क्या CBI क्यों नहीं पहुंचा? ऐसा तो नहीं होता है। करिएगा जो भरिएगा। और सबसे बड़ी बात, कौन सा भ्रष्टाचारी थे जिसको नीतीश कुमार ने छोड़ा था? आज वो सदाचारी बन गए। मैं तो पूछता हूँ नीतीश कुमार जी से, हमारे चच्चा है, कह रहे थे कि मेरे चच्चा है, तो मैं तो पूछता हूँ कि चच्चा जो है, भतीजा आपको आईना दिखा रहा है, उस आईने में देखिए कि आपने क्या।
भ्रष्टाचार के मुद्दे पर ही 2017 में जब CBI ने रेड किया था तो नीतीश कुमार लालू यादव से अलग हुए थे।
वही चच्चा जी से पूछ रहा हूँ कि चच्चा जी, जिस भतीजा को आपने भ्रष्टाचारी कहा, आज वो सदाचारी हो गया। आज वो बच्चा नहीं है जो बगल में बैठा है, और आज मुझे आप कह रहे बच्चा, तो घबराइए मत।
आपको इतना बार 10 बार बच्चा बोले होंगे, आप तो चौथी बार विधायक हैं।
मैं तो वही कह रहा हूँ कि नीतीश जी, मैं तो आपको चच्चा मानता था, मैं तो बहुत सम्मान करता हूँ आपका, क्योंकि आप राजनीति में जब हम लोग आए तो हमको लगा था कि नीतीश कुमार नया बिहार, लेकिन प्रकाश आपने जो बिहारी मेहनत करके अपने मुकाम पाता था, जो बिहारी के बारे में कहा जाता है कि बिहारी मेहनत कश होता है, आज बिहारी को आपने क्या किया? बिहारी को यू टर्न करा दिया, कुर्सी कुमार बना दिया।
यस अभिषेक, या
Prakash, you know, the real pain of Nitish Kumar did come out when he said that धीरे धीरे ये सबको खत्म कर देंगे. I think that was the clincher insofar as Nitish Kumar's speech inside Bihar Assembly is concerned. Stay on. In fact, Shravan Singh joining us live on the story. Shravan, what documents do we have that are clincher in the sense that they prove that people close to Lalu Prasad Yadav when he was railway minister were actually giving jobs in lieu of taking land from the poor and making it in their name?
Well, political rhetoric aside, Abhishek, in this particular case, it's crystal clear. And I would say it's open and shut to a great extent, because what the Central Bureau of Investigation has been able to gather is hard evidence. In fact, I'll just show you two sets of documents in which there is a clear mention of the investigation that's been carried out so far by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and they make a mention of the sale of land that has taken place. Now, important to point out here is that there is a clear reference of Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members, and I'm quoting from the CBI document in which they are saying Sanjay Rai, alias Sanjay Kumar Dharmendra Rai, and sons of late Kameshwar Rai, residents of Mahagathbandhan, via sale deed number 2236 dated 6th February 2008, transferred a parcel of land situated at Patna measuring 3,375 square feet to Rabri Devi, wife of Lalu Prasad Yadav, on sale consideration of 3,75,000 rupees. What was the land value at that time? The market price, it was 62 lakh rupees, and this is what it was sold for, 3,75,000 in the name of Rabri Devi. And in fact, these are the candidates who had basically applied. Take a look at the page number 2, where once again there is a sale deed that takes place. Here too, they say Brij Nandan Rai, son of Devki Rai, transferred a parcel of land situated at Patna measuring 3,375 square feet to Hridaynath Chaudhary, resident of district Gopalganj, Bihar, on sale consideration of 4,21,000. Now, the same land was then transferred land to Hema Yadav, daughter of Lalu Prasad Yadav. So look at the sale that is basically taking place. Now, just to put this into perspective, the two documents that we have basically accessed, and there are several others. In a short while from now, we'll also put out more details of in terms of what has been sold, what was in the name of Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members, and in return, what did they give? The allegation is very simple. The allegation is that when he was the union minister between 2004 and 2009, his close associates, for instance, Bhola Yadav being one, he was basically accepting the applications of these undeserving candidates right at the official residence of Rabri Devi as well as Lalu Prasad Yadav. In return, what was actually happening was they were given the jobs. They were then actually giving gift deeds to Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members. Some land was also bought by his family members, Lalu Prasad's family members. But what's also important to point out here is that all this while, we never spoke about the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Tejasvi Yadav, because what has turned out is that in the last few hours, we've got information from top sources within the agency that number one, there is a company which goes by the name of Whiteland Private Limited. Now, this particular company is suspected to be connected to the Yadav family. Important to point out is that the proceeds of crime, which is the money that they have gained from this scam, was diverted into this very company, then used to to construct a mall in Gurgaon. There are two places where the searches are already being carried out. So, if you really look at it, the flow of funds not being restricted into just the period between 2004 and 2009. Over a period of time also, there were beneficiaries. They benefited from this particular scam, and the money was then diverted. There was a layered diversion of the funds that were taking place. We already showed you in terms of how the land parcels were bought. Some were clearly gifted, and also then the money that was diverted through various companies in which we're now being told that Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members are linked in some way or the other.
Right. Shawan, this is in fact dangerous. This is double exploitation. This is taking bribe, and the poor who couldn't give money, their land, their assets were taken away for the price which prevailed at that time. Obviously, the land prices increased, and so the corruption money ballooned. That's huge. Let me go back to Prakash Singh. Prakash Singh, are there no repercussions of this so far as Bihar politics is concerned? Remember, these raids happened even before the present government took shape and with the coming together of JDU and RJD. You think this is not going to have any perception issues for the Susashan Babu in Bihar?
Well, I'd like to add some more points what someone had said, that immediately after Lalu Yadav relinquished the post of railway minister, there were 2-3 companies that slowly started and in a gradual process, the shareholding of these companies started moving in the name of Tejasvi Yadav, Tej Pratap Yadav and Hema Yadav. One was Delight Marketing and the second was Fair Grow.
All right, breaking news development coming in from Hyderabad, where flag march is being carried out in affected areas where some violence has taken place. Remember the Sar Tan Se Juda protests that have broken out following comments made by BJP MLA Raja Singh. All right, Priyanka is live from the location. Let's go to her. Priyanka, these are additional deployments of police taking place. If you can tell us what's the exact location and what is the plan? Is the situation under control and the cops in charge of what's happening on the ground? Priyanka? I think some connection issue there, but these are pictures of additional deployments of police forces in Hyderabad. This has happened because of protests that erupted on the comments made by BJP legislator Raja Singh, and we have seen since then Sar Tan Se Juda protests taking place over the last 48 hours in various parts of Hyderabad, despite the fact that Raja Singh has been arrested. These pictures are in fact from Charminar area, and Priyanka Sharma reports live from the location. Priyanka, please tell us, these seems like RAF battalion, so paramilitary forces being called in. I hope the situation is under control on the ground.
Well, yes, Abhishek, what we can tell our viewers as we speak over these visuals of the flag march that is expected to happen, it's expected to start in just a few seconds. But of course, talking about the situation on the ground, we had been seeing that since midnight. There had been several sporadic protests that had broken out across, in fact, near the areas of Charminar, and we had seen how those protesters, in fact, had also been chanting Sar Tan Se Juda type of slogans as well, in fact, during the protests that had broken out, and following which we have seen the violence that had broken out with respect to the stone pelting and the lathi charge that had subsequently taken place here near the Charminar area itself, and of course we had been tracking the reactions of several political parties as well, but we had spoken to the police officials, and they had stated that the situation is under control. In fact, yesterday they had said that tomorrow, in fact, is going to be a bandh that will also be called for. The protesters, in fact, had been stating that, and we have seen that the police officials have been in action ever since these kind of protests had broken out in the midnight. During the time, those stone pelting incidents had also been reported. Following which, of course, the police is in action, and that is exactly what we are seeing right now, Abhishek. It is essentially a precautionary measure that is also being taken by the police, by the RAF that has been deployed. 3 battalions, in fact, of the RAF that have been deployed in 3 separate places. In 3 separate places near Charminar itself. And you see the local police as well coordinating this entire flag march. But you can see there are several protesters as well. Abhishek, on the other side, we're trying not to rile them up too much. So I'll ask my VJ to stay where we are and, of course, show you the visuals of these protesters who are showing the black flags. These are sporadic protests. Sporadic protests, in fact, that are breaking out right now. They're protesting right in front of this RAF flag march that is going on. You can see these protests, in fact, that are carrying out. You can see right behind me, as you see these people, in fact, who were passing by, and they have stopped by, and they are raising those black flags, protesting against Raja Singh, protesting against the kind of statements that Raja Singh had made. Let's try to listen in. But of course, sloganeering of "We want justice" as of now, that is being carried out right now. And of course, we are showing you these protesters right now, in fact, who have in fact just come here, and they have started protesting, and they have in fact been making these sloganeering of wanting justice, and they have in fact right in front of this flag march that is being carried out, and the RAF in fact that has been deployed. They're carrying out the flag march in these areas, but these are the protesters. We'll keep moving because the more we point our cameras at them, of course, the more they're going to get riled up, and we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep showing, of course, the authorities as well who are showing, who are in fact also getting in action. They're trying to control the situation right now. And the police force, the RAF, that had been carrying out the flag march is trying to calm down the situation. We're showing those visuals, and all right, dramatic visuals, and let me also go across to my colleague Aneri, who's just around me at another vantage point where this flag march is being carried out, where the protest is being carried out. Aneri, if you can hear me over the chaos that we are witnessing right now here near the Charminar area, what are these protesters saying? What are they demanding? What are they protesting right in front of the flag march for?
Well, as we have been seeing that there's one side, there's flag march which has been taken up by the police authorities. RAF is also here to make sure that the situation is under control, and also at the same time we see that on the other hand there's a protest which has also been taking place here, raising slogans against Raja Singh, and also as you can see in the visuals how flag march has been done here. But also we had seen how massive protest was taking place since last 2 days, and yesterday after the Nampally court had given orders that Raja Singh should be released immediately. Now we see that the RAF and the police authorities, the forces, have been conducting flag march here in Hyderabad to make sure that the situation is under control as we continue to move forward. And we are reporting right now from Shalibanda area in Hyderabad, where since yesterday there were massive protests which had taken place. Police had to resort to lathi charge to bring the situation under control, and also the police patrol vehicles were damaged by these protesters. And also we have been seeing now how this flag march is being conducted to make sure that there's no untoward situation which takes place here in Hyderabad.
Well, Aneri, catch your breath, because I know this situation has gotten a little chaotic right now here, but of course the authorities are on the ground. We're showing you visuals of these police personnel as well that are here trying to make sure that the protesters do not get more riled up. They had in fact carried out this sporadic protest and raising the black flags. They had several black flags in their hands, and they had been sloganeering that they want justice. Now of course we had gotten an inclination of this. We had seen on the ground how the protesters had been angry, how they had been in fact stating that because of Raja Singh's comments that these were completely unacceptable comments that Raja Singh had made, and that it had hurt their religious sentiments. And of course we had also spoken to the police officials, and they had stated that of course there is anger in the people, in the protesters, but they are stating that they want a legal recourse via which they can get justice against Raja Singh, who had been making these comments, and that's exactly what they have been saying. Alright, I have paused just for a few seconds to make you hear what they are sloganeering, what they are basically saying. What they're basically saying is that they want Raja Singh to be hanged till death. Now these are the statements that are being made by these protesters all around me, and they had in fact been making several sloganeering in the midnight itself yesterday, where they had been making statements like Sar Tan Se Juda, those kind of sloganeering that had been done against Raja Singh. But today of course we are seeing that right in front of the flag march, right in front of the police officials, they had been sloganeering, and they have protested with black flags and stated that this is for justice. This is for justice against Raja Singh, kind of statements that Raja Singh in fact had been making. So of course not Not too chaotic, but of course police officials are in action and they are trying to speak to the police protesters as well. The RAF is also present here. Well, let's try to get in a word, because I believe the people leading this protest are having a conversation with the police officials, and the police of course is also trying to tell the protesters to disperse and to peacefully carry out these protests with permissions and all the legalities required. And these are the protesters in fact who are also responding to these kind of statements by the police officials. But of course this is something that we are seeing on the ground right now, Abhishek, where the protesters are angry, the people are angry, and they want justice is what they're saying. They're saying that these are unacceptable comments that had been made by Raja Singh, and that they will not take the insult of their religion lying down. Now of course we'll try. We are of course seeing that the police officials trying to detain the protesters as well. I believe when they had been speaking to the protesters to disperse, the protesters had not been responding, and that is why the police has to use force. And that's where you have it. The police officials in fact are detaining all of the protesters. Right behind me, you can see that this is exactly what is happening right now, that the police officials are detaining the protesters, and of course they're also trying to get back to the flag march. So of course we'll try to get away from their route. But this is what we are showing you right now. These are the visuals from the ground, where the protesters had been asked by the police officials to disperse, but when they had not agreed to it, they have now been detained. So that was another sporadic protest that we are seeing. So of course these are the kind of protests that we have been witnessing since late last night, where stone pelting had taken place as well, and after which we have seen that the police had come into action, and the RAF companies in fact have also been deployed. And we are of course tracking as far as the ramifications of these kind of statements by Raja Singh is concerned, because ever since he made that 10-minute video, we are seeing more and more people in fact coming out on the streets, and yesterday it had hit a crescendo in the midnight where these protesters had come out. In fact, just right here, this is the area right behind me. This is the place where the protest had also taken place late last night, where minor stone pelting had also taken place, and the reminiscence of those protests in fact we can see on the road as well. But today itself we had seen since morning that the police officials had been deployed in several parts of the areas where they had suspected that these kind of protests might break out as well. And just now we also saw that the police officials not using too much force. They in fact had spoken to the protesters before. Let's keep panning, because I believe there's some more action happening there. There's some more altercation going on between the protesters and the police. And we'll keep panning our cameras as we tell our viewers the latest when it comes to what's happening on the ground, the latest when it comes to how the protesters are responding to Raja Singh's statements, and also how there have been several statements being made by the AIMIM political fraternity as well, condemning Raja Singh, but also telling the protesters that they are within their rights to go out and protest, but they should do so peacefully. However, that is not something that is happening on the ground. At least from the scenes that we saw yesterday in the midnight, that it was not really a peaceful protest. In fact, there was several sloganeering that was done of Sar Tan Se Juda as well. It was very evidently heard in several of those videos as well that we had played out. And today, of course, but we are seeing that the heat in fact being dialed down as far as we are witnessing the protesters, because they did show black flags to the authorities, they did show black flags to RAF, they did show black flags to the police officials, and they did the sloganeering of them wanting justice. But of course no action that was happening, as in there's no stone pelting, there was no violence that had broken out. The police of course had been in a lot of numbers, as you can see around me as well. A lot of police officials, a lot of RAF deployment that had been done, which led to the protesters being detained swiftly before there could have been a massive protest that could have also snowballed with respect to at least this particular area that is just near Charminar, where we had seen more and more people coming out. In fact, if I could also show you, because this is a very busy marketplace. This is a place where usually on a daily basis there is a lot of people. It's a jam-packed area. But what you see are a lot of shops that are closed. So this had been also a bandh that had been called by the protesters, and also the AIMM corporators as well that had stated that they are with the protesters as well. And there's a similar bandh. I'll ask my VJ to keep following me because there's a lot of action. And VJ Bipin, in fact, is showing you all the visuals of what's really happening here. And we'll keep following where the police officials are going. But as I was speaking earlier, the bandh that has been called for, that is tomorrow as well, there is a bandh that has been called for by the protesters. However, what we have learned from our sources, so more people being detained will get out of the way of the authorities so that they can do their work. But more and more people being detained. More and more people being detained. And them stating that they are in fact demanding justice against Raja Singh's comments, and that they are in fact demanding Raja Singh to be hung till death. Now those were the sloganeering, those were the slogans that we heard just a few seconds ago. That's what these protesters had been stating. We'll try to get in a word from them as well. But what we see right now is these protesters being detained by the police officials, and of course tomorrow as well we were being told by the authorities that there might be some or the other protest. There is a bandh that has been called for, and these people might come out on the streets to protest the comments of Raja Singh. Not just protest, but also demand Raja Singh to be hung till death. Now these are the sloganeerings that had been made. We'll try to get in a word from them. आप क्या protest यहाँ पे कर रहे थे? राजा सिंह के against यहाँ पे protest कर रहे थे?
बस यही प्रोटेक्शन था। ये हमारे साथ नाइंसाफी हो रही बस हम लोग का वी वांट जस्टिस बोल रहे। खाली जस्टिस बोले तो उठा के लेके चले।
All right. So those were some comments that we heard from the protesters stating that they have been meted out severe injustice, and that they are extremely hurt with the kind of comments that had been made by Raja Singh, and that is why they are demanding that Raja Singh to be brought to book, for him to be punished. These were the statements, these were the sentiments of the protesters that we have been seeing since late last night, and today as well, where these sporadic protests that are breaking out in front of the RAF flag march that has been put on hold for now, because a part of the march in fact is continuing, but we see more and more deployment of the RAF as well. And this flag march in fact was done for this very purpose, to send a message out that even though they have all their legal rights to come out and protest, that these protests should not turn violent. Now that is the message in fact that the authorities are trying to send out to the people, to the protesters, to all of the people in fact who had come out late last night, and also right now as more of these protesters are also getting detained as we speak. So the message, of course, by the authorities is that you can protest, but this protest cannot get violent. These protests cannot have sloganeerings like Sir Tan Se Juda, as we had heard in the midnight yesterday as well. But today, of course, since morning we had been reporting that the situation is returning back to normalcy. At least that is the attempt of the authorities on the ground. And it is evident from the kind of presence of these RAF, the presence of the police officials that we are seeing, we are sensing on the ground. It is evident from that, because they are trying to control the situation. They are trying to make sure that this entire issue and that the entire law and order situation also does not get escalated, and that is why we see these flag marches being carried out. But we were also learning that the majority of the threat perception that they are expecting, that there might be more protests, there might be violent protests, might happen on Friday. So today and tomorrow they are expecting that it might be a little more calm, but they're stating that this might be the silence before the storm for Friday. So of course they are waiting, and of course they are prepared for any and all situations, is what we are sensing right now, because the kind of the number of police officials, the number of RAF personnel that we have seen, and the flag marches that of course are being carried out are also a telling sign of what the authorities are trying to send a message as across, stating that the protesters can protest, but that this protest cannot turn violent. we are, getting all the latest. We are getting all the latest when it comes to the kind of reactions that we are picking up from the political fraternity as well. How they have been stating, the AIMIM leaders in fact stating that the protesters can come out, they have the protection of them, that they are well within their legal rights to come out and protest. But of course giving also a side note that this protest should not turn violent as well, and that is the message that has been sent across. But also we are seeing the political ramifications of it when it comes to the letters that have been written to the speaker, and also the letters that have been written to the speaker talking about how Raja Singh, a sitting MLA, a sitting member of the Legislative Assembly, has completely gone against his oath and also has made statements that are unbecoming of a member of the Legislative Assembly. And this had been stated in letters that have been written by leaders of the AIMIM to the speaker, calling for an expulsion of Raja Singh from the member of the Legislative Assembly. And also we have seen that several other reactions as well that we have picked up with respect to the comments of Raja Singh, and of course what had happened in the court yesterday as well, and how he had been granted bail. I believe Aneri, my colleague, is also joining me from a different vantage point of where this flag march was being conducted. Aneri, if you can hear me, you were on the ground yesterday as well. You were tracking this story very, very closely. You were there in the court. You saw what the legal arguments had been presented. And we are seeing the situation on the ground. Where you are, what are you picking up with respect to these protests that had also broken out? And also tell our viewers about the kind of reactions that you have picked up from the political fraternity.
Well, Priyanka, definitely a lot of war of words between the political parties, but as of now, the situation still continues to remain tense. Well, we have been seeing that there are protests which are still taking place in various parts of the city, especially in the old city area, and also to bring the situation under control just some time ago. And now we also have been seeing that there is a flag march which is being conducted by the police forces, and the RAF is here on the ground conducting flag march. And also, as we have been seeing, the police officials are continuously doing patrolling here at various locations, let it be Charminar area or Shalibanda or any other such sensitive areas where we are expecting that there could be some sort of protest which could take place. As you can see, the flag march is still continuing. It's almost been 3 to 4 kilometers that the flag march began from Shalibanda area, and then now it's still continuing, and we are also moving ahead. But also at the same time, we have been seeing a lot of political war of words which have been going on here in the state of Telangana, specifically when we talk about the AIMIM and the Bharatiya Janata Party, where AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi still continues to hit out at the BJP, despite the Bharatiya Janata Party had suspended Raja Singh from its party. But Asaduddin Owaisi says that why there is no arrest being made, he demands that there should be an arrest which should be made of Raja Singh. And also at the same time, there are slogans which continue to erupt in various parts of the city. Well, now we also have been seeing that after 7 p.m. today, there will be a Bandh-like situation, which we are expecting that there will be a Bandh after 7 p.m. here in the Old City area. Priyanka.
Well, that's right, Aderi, and we had been seeing this kind of a warning that had also been given by the authorities, isn't it? Because since morning we have been reporting, and once again, if I could just give our viewers the sense of where we are standing right now, because this is right near the Charminar area, where these protesters had come out and they had waved the black flag at the flag march that was being carried out by the RAF. But we had seen that this is, of course, a very sensitive area as well, and majority of the protests that had broken out in the midnight were exactly at this particular place where the protests had been taking place. And of course, it is likely that the people who had been protesting today are the same ones who were there yesterday night as well and were making those sloganeerings of Sir Tanse Judha. Of course, we will have to wait for an official confirmation on that. But as of now, we are showing you that since morning, there is a Bandh-like situation here. The shops that are usually full, the marketplace that is usually hustling and bustling right now, we see that several of the shops, in fact, have been closed down. Of course, we are being told that this has been voluntarily been closed down by the shopkeepers, but we will have to see whether or not that is true. But tomorrow as well, we are being told that a bandh-like situation will be there, at least in these particular areas where most of the protesters had come out from, and these marketplaces that will be closed down with respect to a bandh that has been called tomorrow and day after as well. But tomorrow, of course, we're being told by the authorities that perhaps not too many of the protesters will be coming out as far as the intelligence that they have received. But on Friday, we're being told that there might be several of the protests that might break out. But as of now, we are seeing that the authorities, in fact, coming back, police officials coming back that had gone towards the route of the flag march. And the RAF as well, the RAF personnel that had been deployed is still here, and they are of course waiting to see whether okay, all right, we are seeing more protesters in fact being detained, police officials coming out. You can see right there, right behind me, in fact, where police officials are also detaining several other protesters. All right, so they were chasing the protesters. They're trying to detain all of the people who might create some kind of ruckus, who might create some kind of law and order situation. And those are the visuals. That's what we're showing you right now, that the police officials, in fact, here, who have been deployed, who had also been detaining several of the protesters. As you can see, as I pan my camera once again, that several of the people who were being detained by the police officials as well, and they're claiming now that they're just making sure that there is no more people who might create any kind of untoward situation, any kind of law and order issue as well. And that's why these precautions are also being taken by the authorities in the form of flag marches, in the form of detentions that are being done, detaining of these people who were carrying out the protest, who were waving the black flags at the RAF, waving the black flags at the entire flag march. As of now, it has at a halt, at least here, but this is exactly the place where the protesters had come out. The protesters had come out in the midnight and today itself, and which is why we see the police officials in action, making sure that the protesters do not come out and create any kind of law and order situation as well. And if Aneri is also with me, because she's also covering viewers this entire flag march that is being carried out at another different vantage point. Aneri, as we had been speaking about earlier, the kind of protests that are breaking out, we were also learning from police sources that they are expecting that several such sporadic protests might also break out. What are your sources telling you? What is the intelligence that is being received by the police personnel? Because what we are sensing on the ground is that there is a lot of anger in people, and that is coming out in the form of these protests, isn't it, Aneri?
That's right, Priyanka. There is a lot of anger among the people here after the comments and the derogatory comments which were made by Raja Singh on a social media platform where he had uploaded near about 10 minutes video. But now, after that, we have been seeing that there is a massive protest which has been taking place in the city, where we have been seeing before the arrest of Raja Singh, we also had seen that there were protests demanding an immediate arrest of Raja Singh. But after Raja Singh was arrested and the court had granted him bail that he should be released immediately, we see that once again there was a massive protest which broke out in various parts of the city, starting from Chanchalguda jail to the old city area, let it be near the Charminar or the Badurpura and many other such locations where we had seen that thousands of protesters had gathered in large number. Police officials had to use lathi charge to bring the situation under control. Last night there was a massive protest. There were effigies which were burnt of Raja Singh demanding that he should be arrested. But now we also see protests erupting in various parts of the city, Priyanka.
Top
Top national updates at this point of time, viewers. CBI conducted raids at the residence of 5 senior leaders of the RJD, closely associated with the party supremo Lalu Yadav in connection with the land for jobs scam case. Searches were carried out at the premises of RJD MLC Sunil Singh, former MLC Subodh Roy, and 2 Rajya Sabha MPs in Patna.
100% जानबूझ करके, कोई मतलब नहीं है इसका। कौन नहीं जानता है भाई हमारे बारे में? चोरी चमारी करते हैं क्या?
आपके ऊपर क्या आरोप लगा रहे हैं ये? क्या मिलेगा?
क्या घर में ये लोग हैं, हम बाहर हैं।
Amid unending war of words on liquor gate scam, BJP demanded answers from Aam Aadmi Party government, saying it is running away from the main issues of the scam. Further, BJP upped the ante, calling Sisodia the liquor minister.
शिक्षा के विषय में बात करते हैं, वर्ल्ड में कितने बड़े हीरो हो गए हैं उसके विषय में बात करते हैं, मगर जिन प्रश्नों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पूछा है उसका जवाब आम आदमी पार्टी और मनीष सिसोदिया दे नहीं पा रहे हैं।
Amid massive protests in Hyderabad, slogans were raised against T. Raja Singh. The protesters raised Sar Tan Se Juda slogans, demonstrating violent protests in the state.
Sporadic protests across the city that have broken out, especially near the Charminar area, and of course flag marches that are being carried out by the RAF and the police personnel, making sure that the protesters can protest, but that this protest does not turn violent. We're getting you all the updates on the ground. Stay tuned to Republic TV. We'll be back right after this very short break.
Well, a massive protest which has been taking place in the city of Hyderabad, where we see that amid that we also see that there are massive political war of words between the parties lines, and also though the BJP has suspended the BJP MLA Raja Singh from the party, well, he faces an explanation, though we still continue to see that AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi continues to demand for arrest of Raja Singh. We'll be right back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement, and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British.
Visuals coming in from Raipur, where protests are underway in Raipur against Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Baghel, and those are the visuals we're getting for you on your screen of that massive protest, big police presence and a huge crowd there, where some of them are even crossing over barricades and trying to remove them. Those visuals coming in from Raipur, where massive protests continue against the Chhattisgarh CM. Now these visuals are also coming in as the protesters and the BJP workers broke barricades, hundreds of workers on the scene right now, with BJP MLA Saurabh Singh as well present at the spot. And some of them, in fact, were also arrested after they reached near the CM house. There's a lot of ruckus coming in. Some workers have also been injured. That is what we are learning right now. BJP workers detained. Ruckus coming in from Raipur, Chhattisgarh, where massive protests continue against the Chhattisgarh CM. BJP workers are breaking barricades, and hundreds of protesters there at the scene. Remember that we are learning also that some workers have been injured. So protests there continuing in Raipur against Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Baghel. But Tejasvi Surya there also saying that they want to challenge Bhupesh Baghel and angry protesters. The BJP is saying that you do not have any employment, law and order situation is also bad in the state. So those are the demands being made by the BJP, where the BJP is protesting against the Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Baghel and saying that there's a need of jobs, there's a need of law and order in the state, which is completely out of control. And also alleging that there's corruption in the government and commission is also being taken in every department of the government. Satya Vijay is joining me. Satya Vijay, take us through what's happening there on ground. We can see that there are massive protests, so massive that even barricades are being broken by the protesters, which are present in hundreds.
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल। देखिए, छत्तीसगढ़ की राजधानी रायपुर में आज बीजेपी ने हल्ला बोल किया था भूपेश बघेल गवर्नमेंट के खिलाफ, क्योंकि विजय बयाम का ये बड़ा प्रोटेस्ट था। उनके बड़े पदाधिकारी और राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जो है वो दिल्ली से रायपुर पहुंचे थे और बेरोजगारी के खिलाफ ये महाआंदोलन था। साफ तौर पर विजय बयाम का ये आरोप था कि भूपेश बघेल की गवर्नमेंट में लोगों को रोजगार नहीं मिलता है, बेरोजगारी का आलम जो है वो चरम पर है। इसके अलावा मिशनखोरी और तमाम जो आरोप लगाए थे भाजपा ने, और इसी को लेकर उन्होंने घेराव और महाआंदोलन का आगाज किया था, जिस दौरान भाजपा कार्यकर्ताओं को रोकने के लिए बैरिकेडिंग की गई थी। लेकिन इस दौरान कई जो नेता और कार्यकर्ता है वो हिंसक हो गए। उन्होंने बैरिकेडिंग तोड़कर आगे बढ़ने की कोशिश की, जिसकी की हम तस्वीरें भी दिखा रहे हैं। और इसके बाद ही पुलिस ने इन प्रदर्शनकारियों को रोकने की कोशिश की और इस दौरान जमकर हंगामा हुआ। और हंगामे के बाद कई भाजपा के जो नेता हैं, कुछ विधायक और कुछ कार्यकर्ता जो हैं, सैकड़ों की तादाद में इनको पुलिस ने हिरासत में लिया है, अरेस्ट किया है। क्योंकि चूंकि भाजपा साफ तौर पर ये कह रही कि छत्तीसगढ़ में भूपेश गवर्नमेंट लगातार भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त है, इसीलिए बेरोजगारी पर फोकस नहीं किया जा रहा है। और इसको लेकर ये महाआंदोलन आज रखा गया था, जिस दौरान ये पूरे हंगामे की तस्वीरें सामने आई हैं। और इस आंदोलन में सबसे बड़ी आती है कि जब उन्हें बैरिकेड करके रोका गया पुलिस ने आगे बढ़ने से, तो इस दौरान ये लोग सीएम हाउस के नजदीक भी पहुंच गए थे, जिसके बाद वहां पर पुलिस को हल्का बल प्रयोग करना पड़ा। लेकिन कार्यकर्ता इतने ज्यादा उग्र थे भाजपा के कि उन्होंने बैरिकेडिंग तोड़ दी, जिसके बाद हंगामा हुआ और कई नेता और सैकड़ों कार्यकर्ताओं को पुलिस ने यहाँ से अरेस्ट किया है।
Right. So viewers, as you can clearly see on your screen, and what Satya Vijay is also explaining to us, is that there seems to be a lot of anger against Chhattisgarh CM Bhupesh Baghel, where a lot of demands are being made by the BJP there and the BJP workers there, that they need employment. Law and order situation is also bad, and we continue tracking the story coming in from Raipur, getting you every detail of the massive protest. The protesters have gathered in hundreds of numbers and breaking through barricades. Some also have been injured as protests continue, and the police is also trying to control the situation as we speak there. Visuals coming in from Raipur. Remember that even the national president there of the youth wing, Tejasvi Surya, is in Raipur, and he is also demanding there should be action taken against unemployment there. We continue tracking the story. Much more coming up on the other side.
Well, the flag marches are on and the police officials are making sure that the protests do not turn violent, and we are seeing that there are a lot of anger in the undercurrent of the people here in Hyderabad and several protests against Raja Singh and his comments against Prophet Muhammad. Keep watching Republic TV. We'll be getting you all the updates from the ground.
Going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodia, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodia has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence.
Viewers, we're getting some big news coming in at this point of time. Another infiltration bid from Pakistan was foiled by our security forces earlier today in the area of Akhnur, near the line of control. We're getting some big news of one more infiltration attempt bid from Pakistan being foiled by our security forces. Our security forces moving extremely fast there and foiling one more attempt of an infiltration. This is the big news coming in at this point of time. Remember, it's a short while back on Republic TV also showed you some visuals of the tapes we had accessed where there was an attempt from terrorists to, in fact, again, go ahead and do an infiltration bid in India. We have showed you that exclusive visuals a short while back. But we continue to be live and breaking. Our security forces have moved fast and stopped an infiltration bid foiled near the LOC. Much more coming up on the other side. Protests continue against CM Baghel. Protest there with workers coming out in hundreds demanding action against unemployment and a better law and order situation in the state of Chhattisgarh. Stay tuned.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted, and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
Going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi.
7 raids and 7 cases detailed on the biggest story tonight at 7 p.m.
scams pile up: illegal mining, liquor scam, SSE scam. Can the opposition fight it out if corruption is an issue? Is corruption within the biggest challenge of the opposition? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Republic with the biggest expose in the Jharkhand illegal mining scam. We show you how the proceeds of crime were laundered. Republic investigation reveals how Jharkhand Chief Minister aide Pankaj Mishra used his influence to control the mining business. Raids, protests, showdown with 5 top RJD leaders under the radar. It's an action-packed trust vote day in Bihar. It's a mega exclusive. Indian Army foils Pakistan terror bid. Republic breaks the Pakistan terror tape. Even Jaivir Shergill dumps the Vadra Congress, resigns as Congress national spokesperson. Deceased BJP leader Sonali Phogat's family alleges foul play in her death, claims she was poisoned. Starting this edition with some breaking news now coming in the illegal mining scam, where we are given to understand that as far as Prem Prakash is concerned, the middleman, top sources now confirming to Republic TV, he's essentially responsible for 90% of the cash diversion in the illegal mining scam. In fact, the Enforcement Directorate is looking at about 1,000 crore illegal scam. The probe is underway. The third important point here is that as far as Prem Prakash is concerned, a large part of the money was also raised through transfer postings. He's considered to be someone who's close to Chief Minister Hemant Soren. And also on your screens right now, the recoveries that have been made from one of the premises of Prem Prakash, the only network to have got access to the videos that have from his premises where the searches were carried out. Let me quickly get a word from our senior editor Prakash. Prakash, we're getting in more details with regards to the searches that were carried out. I'm being told by my sources that 90% of the cash routing was basically done by Prem Prakash, and not just that, also money was made through transfer postings. It turns out that this is going to be a huge embarrassment for the Jharkhand government.
Well, I think, Sawan, that gradually the entire mining scam case is moving towards the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren. And so far, many close associates of Hemant Soren have been arrested or raided. And Prem Prakash is not only the only exception. Prior to that, Abhishek Mishra and various other people, his media in charge, as well as other people have been raided and arrested, and cash recoveries to the tune of 19 crore rupees have been recovered so far earlier last month itself. And this entire scam is pointing towards Hemant Soren now. Prem Prakash used to divert all the 90% of the funds through different channels and it has been invested into different properties. That's what we get to know, multiple properties, and that's what the CBI raided the premises of Prem Prakash today. And we'll get to know the further details of the raid later on as to what else has been recovered from Prem Prakash's premises. But it is certain that 90% of the proceeds of the illegal mining was being diverted at the behest of Prem Prakash, who is again a close aide of Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren. So already problems and troubles looming large on Hemant Soren, the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, as he is facing a case in the Election Commission for the disqualification of his membership from the Jharkhand Assembly, which can be delivered anytime soon. That's what we get to know. And Hemant Soren is also contemplating the fact of nominating his wife Kalpana Soren as the chief ministerial candidate of the UPA. So I think that the investigating agencies are heading towards Hemant Soren in a gradual process, and very soon, if Hemant Soren is in trouble, I will not be surprised.
Right. Well, I'll request you to stay on, Prakash, as we've also accessed some exclusive documents as far as the illegal mining scam is concerned. This is pertaining to the Enforcement Directorate's investigation. These are inside details of the ED investigation. The Enforcement Directorate is essentially focusing on the role of middleman Prem Prakash as well as close aide of Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren's, that is Pankaj Mishra. In fact, take a look at some of the exclusive documents that have been accessed, which throws light on the role that has been played by a man who goes by the name of Pankaj Mishra, arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on 19th of July, and his association with history cheaters Bachchu Yadav and Dahu Yadav.
In a mega crackdown, the ED launched multi-state raids in 17 locations in the Jharkhand illegal mining scam. The recoveries from Prem Prakash, who is touted to be a close associate of Chief Minister Hemant Soren, include AK-47s and ammunitions. And now, Republic TV has accessed scathing details of the modus operandi of the illegal mining scam.
Take a look at this particular document where they make a mention that Pankaj Mishra is a representative of Hemant Soren from Barhait and enjoys a political clout. Now, who exactly is Pankaj Mishra? Here they are making a mention of the fact that Pankaj Mishra is involved in rampant illegal mining in Sahibganj and its adjoining areas. He has been using his influence and dominance to control mining businesses and also inland ferry services in Sahibganj and its adjoining areas. He himself has been allotted mining lease in Sahibganj in the name of his proprietorship firm Mahakal Stone Works, and also the fact that using this lease he carries out illegal mining extensively at several sites.
Republic has accessed details of how 125 FIRs already exist on the issue of illegal mining that the ED has merged to continue its probe. Republic TV has details of how the probe was initiated based on FIRs and assessment of the National Green Tribunal.
All attempts to claim vendetta in the mining scam falls flat because at the bedrock of this probe are orders of the National Green Tribunal on 7th of May 2019. Take a look at what is written in that order. As far as the mining scam is concerned, this is what the court had to say. Undeniable, there are a large number of illegal stone mines and crushers operating in the area which have now either been closed or at the stage of compliances for the pollution norms. Considering this, there is also necessity to assess the environmental damages. There's a quantum of minerals extracted and crushed.
Republic TV has accessed details of how a political hand just cannot be ruled out in the multi-crore illegal mining scam.
Exclusive documents with Republic TV show how Pankaj Mishra, a man who was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on 19th of July, could be the crucial link to unearth the bigger fish. Take a look at what is written in this Enforcement Directorate's document, in which Pankaj Mishra is essentially being called someone who enjoys political clout, a representative of Hemant Soren. The fact that it is his mining lease that was being used to carry out illegal mining extensively at several sites in Jharkhand. He is the one who is essentially carrying out rampant illegal mining in Sahibganj.
There has been political protests in the past. But now, Republic has led the coverage and shown you the recoveries, the evidence and the key accused in the net. Can the illegal mining scam be sidestepped anymore? A Republic exclusive report.
Well, in fact, we've accessed pictures of Sahibganj district where this illegal mining was carried out. In fact, perhaps we could also put those pictures out for you to understand how exactly over a period of time the entire area was completely flattened simply because of the illegal mining that was carried out. And who was really doing it? Pankaj Mishra, I'm given to understand, is one such person. Prem Prakash is the other person, the middleman who is now being probed by the Enforcement Directorate. Let me bring in Prakash right now. Prakash, as we were basically highlighting, for the Jharkhand government or even the opposition parties to basically claim a vendetta, it seems to be falling flat on their face simply because of the fact that this is a case that is being probed by the Enforcement Directorate based on multiple FIRs. Over 100 FIRs have already been registered. All of that have now been clubbed. A predicate offence is there. NGT has also spoken about the very fact that there was rampant illegal mining that was going on. And when I was speaking to some of my sources within the Enforcement Directorate, they say that following the arrest of Bachchu Yadav, many of the Adivasis have taken a sigh of relief.
Well, Shawan, as you rightly pointed out, it's been a threadbare investigation so far as this mining scam in Jharkhand is concerned, because we have been tracking this story for the past 2.5 months or so. And the way it has panned out, it seems that Hemant Soren, I must say this, that Hemant Soren is hand in glove with all the people who were involved in the wrongdoing pertaining to the mining scam. It all first started with the ED raids that were conducted at IS officer Pooja Singhal's residence, and then the mining scam was also unearthed, and there was a case in the High Court, Jharkhand High Court, which was taken cognizance of, and thereafter multiple raids were conducted at the residence of Dahu Yadav, Bachchu Yadav, Pankaj Mishra, and they are all close associates of Hemant Soren, and specifically Barhet, where the raids were conducted. And Barhet is the area from where Hemant Soren has been nominated to the Jharkhand Assembly constituency, and specifically the 30 crore rupees vessel that was recovered by the ED, which was used to ferry the illegal mining chips to various places. That was also an eye-opener. And proceeds of the crime, I must say that to the tune of more than 25 to 30 crores in cash have already been recovered. And this entire scam pans out to more than 150 to 200 crores as of now. So the involvement of Hemant Soren's aides as of now is clear. Now, at whose behest they were working, because Hemant Soren is in charge of the mines department in Jharkhand, apart from being the chief minister. I fail to understand how on earth could a chief minister get a mining lease allotted in his name, and that too in the close vicinity of Ranchi, around 30 to 35 kilometers from Ranchi in Angadha mining area. So that changed the perception for Hemant Soren. During COVID times, Hemant Soren's perception was very high. He was working well. But now the perception has dipped. And now it has come to a point that he may face disqualification on charges of office of profit by the Election Commission in near future. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Prakash, for putting this story into perspective. Yet another exclusive by Republic TV. Shifting focus now to the other big investigation that's being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. We're getting you a super exclusive of the Bihar land for jobs scam. The Republic has now accessed sensational land gift deeds, which shows how Lalu's aide, Bhola Yadav, has signed as a witness in every deed. It's now out in black and white how exactly Rabri Devi signed on the land deed, and also how Lalu's aide facilitated the land for jobs scam. Take a look.
CBI raids in the scam where about 1.5 lakh square feet land was acquired by Lalu and family were on. The allegations are of Group D jobs being allotted in lieu for land when Lalu Prasad was railway minister. 3 top RJD leaders faced raids on their residences. Tejashwi Yadav is trying to brazen it out in the assembly.
मतलब आप भाजपा के साथ रहिएगा, हाथ मिला लीजिएगा तो राजा हरिश्चंद्र बन जाओगे, और हाथ नहीं मिलाइएगा तो भ्रष्टाचारी, क्रिमिनल, रेपिस्ट, और पीछे ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स को लगा दिया जाएगा। अब आप बताइए कि पूरी तरीके से बेबुनियाद आरोप हम लोगों पे लगाया गया और एक नया चीज आप फिर लेकर के आ गए हैं। अब ये IRCTC का मामला, नौकरी जमीन का मामला।
But now Republic Media Network has accessed the gift deeds, which only goes on to show that Rabri Devi and Heba Yadav were direct beneficiaries of the land that was acquired through these gift deeds. The entire modus operandi has now been revealed with the documents accessed by Republic Media Network, which shows that undeserving candidates who had basically applied for Group D and Group C appointments in the railway department were basically given jobs in lieu of land that was given in the name of Lalu Prasad Yadav's family members. In fact, some of the documents accessed by us shows that land parcel worth about 62 lakh rupees was handed out to Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members for just about 4 lakh rupees. And this was not just one such case. There have been multiple such cases where land parcels were gifted to his family members at throwaway prices.
Meritorious job seekers lost out. One family allegedly gained acres and acres of land, and the country suffered. The land for job scam cannot be brushed aside anymore. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
It's a Republic mega exclusive. This afternoon, viewers, we got you two videos which showed the movement of Pakistani terrorists in the Nowshera sector. On 22nd of August, around 8:55 in the evening, two terrorists were trying to enter India. There was an attempt to infiltrate. In fact, we've accessed the videos. This is the Loris videos surveillance video that has been accessed by Republic TV, where they were spotted. Moments later, an explosion took place. Full details only on Republic TV.
Republic TV has accessed exclusive visuals of two Pakistani terrorists who were eliminated as the Indian Army foiled an infiltration bid along the line of control in the Rajouri district of Jammu and Kashmir. The infiltration attempt was made in the Nowshera sector on August 21st at around 8:55 p.m. Watch how Pakistani terrorist movement was caught on camera. Visuals depict how the terrorists who were attempting to sneak in unwittingly stepped on the landmine and met their end. 9 minutes after the infiltration attempt was made, one of the terrorists stepped over a landmine, causing an explosion. The movement of terrorists was captured on a surveillance camera, a long-range reconnaissance and observation system. It may be noted that Pukharni village is the only plain area on the largely hilly terrain of the line of control, where Indian and Pakistani posts can be seen facing each other.
It came 2 days after a Pakistani Fidain was arrested by the Indian Army in the same Nowshera sector, who was in a bid to carry out a Fidain attack but was apprehended hours before the same, and now the investigation is on as two incidents have come into fore that clearly hints at the larger plot of the Pakistan to carry out a terror strike.
Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Has foiled an attempt of Pakistani terrorists to sneak in into the Indian territory. The exclusive visuals of which the Republic has broken today afternoon, that how these terrorists were trying to sneak in into the Indian territory. The two videos exposing the plot of the Pakistan, that how these terrorists were planning to sneak in into the Indian territory. And now a major haul of arms and ammunition has been recovered, including the AK-47 rifle. This is the AK rifle that has been recovered from these terrorists. Important to mention that two terrorists have been neutralized when they were trying to sneak in into the Indian territory, and based on that, Operation Kanchi was launched, in which AK-47 rifle, 2 magazines have been recovered, around 50 rounds of the AK, some cigarette packets have been recovered. This clearly establishes the Pakistani hand, that it has the marking of government of Pakistan in it. The gold cup and the capstan cigarettes, clearly marking of the Pakistan, showing how Pakistan is desperate to push terrorists into the Indian territory. And the Pakistani currency with the photo of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the lighters, and also the dry fruits that have been recovered from these terrorists clearly shows that they have come with a plot to survive for a longer period of time, possibly a Fidain kind of attack they were planning after sneaking in into the Indian territory. And this is the recovery that has been made from these terrorists very near to the line of control. they were carrying these things with them that have now been recovered by the Indian Army. Important to mention, this was the second plot in 3 days. Earlier, a Pakistani Fedayeen attacker was apprehended by the Indian Army in the Nowshera sector itself, and he was the one who was cultivated by the Pakistani intelligence agency ISI for more than 2 years, and later he got the training from the Lashkar-e-Toiba terror training camp in the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This clearly establishes the Pakistani hand and the desperation of Pakistan to push in terrorists and to carry out a major terror strike. With Sir Jeevan Kumar, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network.
Let me bring in my colleague Gursimran, who's there at the spot, getting us more details. Gursimran, you were there at the press briefing. Undoubtedly, this is a big win for the security forces. Take us to the details that you're picking up. 3 such attempts were made in 3 days, back-to-back attempts that have been made by Pakistan.
See, the Pakistan is desperate, and that is the reason 3 Pakistani attempts of pushing terrorists into the Indian territory have been foiled by the Indian Army. First, starting with the 21st of August on Sunday, when a Pakistani terrorist who was in a bid to carry out a Fedayeen attack was arrested in the Nowshera sector. Followed by it was the second bid of the Pakistan to push in terrorists that was foiled by the Indian Army in the Pukharni area of Nowshera sector. And here 2 terrorists were killed, and a huge cache of arms and ammunition, including AK rifle, magazines, Pakistani currency, Pakistani cigarette and dry fruits to survive for a longer period of time were recovered. And just now we are getting to know that another infiltration bid by the Pakistan has been foiled in the Planwala sector of Akhnoor, where the forces have pushed back a Pakistani group of terrorists, 2 to 3 terrorists who were trying to sneak in. They have been fired upon, though taking the advantage of dense foliage. They have been able to sneak back to the Pakistani territory. Now the searches have been launched in the entire area to ensure that if any of the terrorists is able to sneak in into the Indian side or is somewhere near the line of control, he can be eliminated at an earliest Shawan. But this shows the deep conspiracy that is being hatched by the Pakistani intelligence agency and the terror groups in Pakistan so as to push terrorists into the Indian territory. Shawan.
Well, thank you very much, Gursimran, for getting us the latest details. In fact, we've also got a reaction from the Indian Army. Commander of 80 Infantry did brief the media about the recoveries that have made.
Resident of Subskot in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. He was leading a group of 2 fully armed terrorists who were waiting behind him, but they managed to escape back across the LC due to the dense foliage and broken ground. Tabrak Hussain is a seasoned terrorist guide. He was earlier also apprehended on the LC in 2016 along with his brother Harun Ali. He was then jailed before being released in November 2017. Tabrak Hussain is presently being treated for gunshot wounds by the army doctors in Rajouri. In the second operation, on the intervening night of 22nd August, a group of 2 to 3 terrorists tried to infiltrate through the Lam sector. Our alert troops picked up their movement while they were crossing the LC and then monitored the same. As the group moved, they entered own minefield, due to which a series of mines got activated and 2 terrorists were eliminated on the spot. A third, who's possibly injured and is hiding there, or he has gone back taking the advantage of inclement weather and dense foliage. In the morning of 23rd August, we flew a quadcopter in the area and we could observe the bodies of the 2 terrorists. A deliberate search was then launched through the minefield, and post the search, we have recovered their body today morning. There has been also a recovery of warlike stores, which include 1 AK-56 rifle, 3 magazines and a large quantity of ammunition. As the area is heavily mined, the search operation is being carried out very carefully and it is still under progress. We are expecting that more recoveries will take place.
Seven raids and 7 cases detailed on the biggest story tonight at 7 p.m.
Amity University, Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried.
Hate-monger Raja Singh suspended. What about others? No action against Sartan Se Juda sloganeers. Watch The Burning Question tonight at 8 p.m.
Republic with the biggest expose in the Jharkhand illegal mining scam. We show you how the proceeds of crime were laundered. Republic investigation reveals how Jharkhand CM aide Pankaj Mishra used his influence to control the mining business. Sensational Bihar land gift deeds accessed. Lalu aide witness in multiple deeds. Land gift deeds signed by Rabri Devi. Was land gifted to Lalu's family for jobs. A mega exclusive Indian Army foils Pak terror bid. Republic breaks Pak terror tips. And even Jaivir Shergill dumps the Vadra Congress, resigns as Congress's national spokesperson. Well, to the mining scam, that's been the big story coming out of Jharkhand all day today since the raids started in the morning by the Enforcement Directorate. Public investigating team has accessed the biggest exclusive on this scam. We have accessed the inside details of the ED investigation. Now, the ED has been focusing on the role of middlemen and close aid of Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren. Remember, Pankaj Mishra is already in judicial custody, and this time it's Prem Prakash with AK-47 rifles. Take a look at this report.
In a mega crackdown, the ED launched multi-state raids in 17 locations in the Jharkhand illegal mining scam. The recoveries from Prem Prakash, who is touted to be a close associate of Chief Minister Hemant Soren, include AK-47s and ammunitions. And now, Republic TV has accessed scathing details of the modus operandi of the illegal mining scam.
Take a look at this particular document where they make a mention that Pankaj Mishra is a representative of Hemant Soren from Barhait and enjoys a political clout. Now, who exactly is Pankaj Mishra? Here they are making a mention of the fact that Pankaj Mishra is involved in rampant illegal mining in Sahibganj and its adjoining areas. He has been using his influence and dominance to control mining businesses and also inland ferry services in Sahibganj and its adjoining areas. He himself has been allotted mining lease in Sahibganj in the name of his proprietorship firm Mahakal Stone Works, and also the fact that using this lease he carries out illegal mining extensively at several sites.
Republic has accessed details of how 125 FIRs already exist on the issue of illegal mining that the ED has merged to continue its probe. Republic TV has details of how the probe was initiated based on FIRs and assessment of the National Green Tribunal.
All attempts to claim vendetta in the mining scam falls flat because the bedrock of this probe are orders of the National Green Tribunal on 7th of May 2019. Take a look at what is written in that order. As far as the mining scam is concerned, this is what the court had to say. Undeniable, there are large number of illegal stone mines and crushers operating in the area which have now either been closed or at the stage of compliances for the pollution norms. Considering this, there is also necessity to assess the environmental damages. There's a quantum of minerals extracted and crushed.
Republic TV has accessed details of how a political hand just cannot be ruled out in the multi-crore illegal mining scam.
Exclusive documents with Republic TV show how Pankaj Mishra, a man who was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on 19th of July, could be the crucial link to unearth the bigger fish. Take a look at what is written in this Enforcement Directorate's document, in which Pankaj Mishra is essentially being called someone who enjoys political clout, a representative of Hemant Soren. The fact that it is his mining lease that was being used to carry out illegal mining extensively at several sites in Jharkhand. He is the one who is essentially carrying out rampant illegal mining in Sahibganj.
There has been political protests in the past. But now, Republic has led the coverage and shown you the recoveries, the evidence and the key accused in the net. Can the illegal mining scam be sidestepped anymore? A Republic exclusive report.
Well, in the pictures you can see the ravages of illegal mining, a green belt turned barren, and of course the scam itself running into hundreds of crores of rupees under political patronage. Pankaj Mishra's connections are absolutely known. He's behind bars. Apart from that, we have now Prem Prakash, a businessman there in Ranchi, and these visuals are of the two AK-47 rifles, the guns recovered along with magazines and 60 rounds of fire that ED found from his residence and present in the pictures. On the other side, of course, you are seeing Hemant Soren, given the fact that it's likely that he might be under scandal for the connections that these accused have with him, having worked closely with him. But what is interesting is that while you do illegal mining, do you really need this caliber of guns? Do you need AK-47 rifles in Jharkhand? That's a big question. Let's try to understand and listen in to the SHO of Ranchi on this discovery of rifles from Prem Prakash's residence during ED raids.
violating law in the matter of appointment, we should not be surprised. People are being arrested in Kerala for wearing black shirt or not? Tell me. Tell me. You tell me. They have been arrested or not? Yes? Then if somebody comes to your public meeting wearing black shirt, he will be arrested. And somebody who tries to assault the governor, even report Raj Bhavan wrote to the Vice Chancellor, and that is why I call him out and out criminal. Raj Bhavan wrote twice to send the report. You know what he wrote in the report? I am not a security expert. To give evidence, you need to be security expert. You will arrest people for wearing black shirt and you will not take any action if your head of the state is assaulted. The problem is what I had said at Manorama conclave about 2 weeks back, when I said unfortunately there are certain political ideologies which have not originated in India, which have originated outside. They feel that using force, compulsion, overawing somebody is politically justified. They use all these weapons against people who hold a different viewpoint. I will tell you about Irfan Habib recently. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he was invited by the Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University to address the university community. Irfan Habib launched campaign that Prime Minister should not be allowed to address the meeting. Why did he not do the same thing? Why did he not indulge in violence the way he indulged in Kannur? Because he knew that Chief Minister in Uttar Pradesh is Mr. Adityanath Yogi. And if he tries to use violence, what will be done to him, he knew it well. Therefore, there, his opposition was confined to verbal opposition. Here in Kannur, he thought that I am free to indulge even in violence. And this Vice Chancellor was part of that conspiracy. And all those somewhere who did not take action, surely you must ask them that why you ignored the IPC provision.
CPM leaders demanding Kannur VC to move a defamation case against you regarding the criminal.
So ask him, I will welcome it. Ask him when he is going to move it.
Governor, while introducing the bill today in Assembly, while the bill was being discussed, one of the MLAs said that RSS is trying through Governor to appoint RSS supporters as Vice Chancellors in university. And so this bill has come
So
in
they want to stop RSS Vice Chancellors. They want to appoint Vice Chancellors who will appoint a person who is not qualified. Is there any doubt after the stay by the High Court? Did he respond to that? I asked them, instead of asking me, that she has university ranking, that candidate had only 156 marks. Whereas the person who went to the High Court, he had how much? 564 or 600 something. So please ask that honorable member to explain it. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan, angry at the use of at protests that took place while he was participating in a convocation at a university and taking on the radicals who showed black flags at him. He was singling out Irfan Habib for those protests and Kerala Governor at loggerheads with the government there, saying that he had to face violence and threat calls. That's Kerala Governor saying the way he indulged, the way he was singled out for violence in Kannur, it could not have happened in UP. So those who did it with some planning. I was made to wait for long and listen to their criticism. I was assaulted, said Arif Mohammad Khan, Governor of Kerala, and I'm very surprised and feel ashamed at being the Chancellor. That's what he said. It's moving on.
Police is conducting search here at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum along with two more lawyers from the High Court here in Barzila area of Srinagar, and the raids are being done in connection with the killing of Babar Qadri, who lost his life in a terror attack on 24th of September 2020, and this has been confirmed by ADGP Kashmir Vijay Kumar. That time police also arrested 5 people, 2 from the central jail and other 3 from the outside, who admitted that they are the part of the killing, and also they hatched the conspiracy because they had
Hate-monger Raja Singh suspended. What about others? No action against Sartan se Juda sloganeers. Watch The Burning Question tonight at 8 p.m.
According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted, and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
Going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodia, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodia has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was ours.
All right. More trouble mounts for TMC leader Anubrata Mandal as he has been sent to 14 days of judicial custody. More likely that this is going to be unending given his role under a scanner. Let's look at this report.
Trouble mounts for Mamta's man Anubrata Mandal, who was produced before the Asansol court in the cattle smuggling case today. In the latest development, Anubrata Mandal has been sent to 14 days custody and bail plea rejected by the court. A day earlier, CBI Judge Rajesh Chakrabarti allegedly received a threat letter stating if Anubrata Mandal is not given bail, the judge and his family will be falsely framed in a drug case. Meanwhile, Mandal requested the court to investigate a threat letter which he believed was against him. However, lawyers in their hearing retaliated, saying the incident has no connection with the case. Republic Bangla also confronted Anubrata Mandal, whose custody ended today.
তার জন্য বিচারককে বলবো যে সিবিআই তদন্ত দাও। বিচারককে আমি ওকে বলবো যে আমি অনুরোধ করছি, আপনাকে জোরাত করছি, আপনি সিবিআই তদন্ত দাও।
Mondal, who has skipped at least 10 summons in connection with the cattle smuggling case, citing ill health as an excuse, was arrested by the CBI from his Bolpur residence on August 11th. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Republic investigation reveals how Jharkhand Chief Minister aide Pankaj Mishra used his influence to control the mining business. And land gift deed signed by Rabri Devi was land gifted to Lalu's family for jobs on the other side of a short break.
Amity University Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0.
Breaking news development coming in. A special session of the Delhi Legislative Assembly has been called on 26th of August. That's Friday. Fireworks expected as the opposition might try to put the government on the mat. Though, of course, they don't have enough numbers in the Delhi Assembly. But the liquor gate has exploded and the BJP would want perhaps to make itself heard in the Delhi Assembly, and of course gives an opportunity to the Aam Aadmi Party government to put across its side of the story on 2 counts. 1, why they withdrew the new policy in favor of the old one if they thought that the new was the best in the world, and 2, whether who was behind the offer to Manish Sisodia to break the Aam Aadmi Party. Would there be clarity during the assembly session? State set for Liquorgate fireworks on Friday, that's August 26. A special session of the Delhi Assembly called.
Seven raids and 7 cases detailed on the biggest story tonight at 7 p.m.
Going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodia is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodia, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodia has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state's special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline Hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline Hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks.
Additional police forces have been deployed in parts of the city in Hyderabad following overnight protests against suspended BJP legislator Raja Singh's alleged remarks against Prophet Muhammad that stretched into Wednesday morning. Videos also emerged of AIMIM leaders taking part in the protests where violent beheading threats were made. Republic questioned the AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi over the same. Here's what he had to say.
नहीं देखिए, कोर्ट का फैसला है, मगर ज़रा ताज्जुब ख़ैज़ है, ज़रा स्ट्रेंज है, क्योंकि उन्होंने जब ये वीडियो जारी किया जिसमें इस्लाम और प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के बारे में बकवास, गंदगी, अनाब शनाब, झूठ और एक डेरोगेटरी लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल किया है, तो उसके बाद उस वीडियो में आप ये कि मैं और एक ऐसा वीडियो बनाऊंगा भी है, तो मुझे लगता था कि शायद 41 CRPC काफ़ी हो जाए की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये थ्रेट किया है कि मैं दोबारा इस तरह का अनाप शनाप के वीडियो बनाऊंगा। हम तेलंगाना सरकार से और पुलिस के जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है उनसे इस बात का डिमांड करते हैं कि वो फ़ौरन उनको अरेस्ट करके उनको जेल भिजाना चाहिए, बल्कि जेल जुडिशल कस्टडी से पहले इनको पुलिस अपनी कस्टडी में लेकर इनका वॉइस सैंपल FSL से कराए, ताकि इनके खिलाफ एक लीगली स्ट्रॉन्ग और टाइट केस बन सके, क्योंकि ये पहली मर्तबा नहीं है, ये हमेशा इस तरह की बातें करते आते हैं जिससे एक समुदाय की बेइज्जती, एक समुदाय के जो बुजुर्ग हैं, उन्होंने हालिया 1 महीना पहले ख्वाजा गरीब नवाज रहमतुल्लाह अलैह के बारे में कहा नाउज़ुबिल्लाह कि वो डाकू हैं, तो इस तरह एक उनका रिकॉर्ड है। तो इसलिए हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि पुलिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कानूनी जो रेक्टिफिकेशन है उसको फॉलो करके दोबारा उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेगा और अरेस्ट करेगा।
लेकिन सर हम साथ में ये भी देख रहे हैं कि परसों भी प्रोटेस्ट हुए थे, कल भी प्रोटेस्ट हुए, हालांकि कोर्ट के ऑर्डर्स के बाद भी हमने देखे कि कई वायलेंट प्रोटेस्ट हुए और स्टेटमेंट्स, स्लोगन्स सर तन से जुदा के जैसे।
नहीं, वायलेंस कहीं पर नहीं हुआ है। जो आप नारों की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं फिर से इस बात को दोहरा रहा हूं कि प्रोटेस्ट करना हम तमाम का एक बुनियादी हक है, मगर सुनिए स्लोगन्स आप जब लगा रहे हैं तो आप तशद्दुद के लिए वायलेंस की बात मत करिए। इस बात को हम तमाम को समझने की ज़रूरत है कि भाजपा और संघ परिवार हैदराबाद में जो 8 साल से पुरअमन माहौल है, तेलंगाना जो तरक्की कर रहा है, उस तरक्की को और उस अमन को बिगाड़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और अगर खुदा ना खास्ता तशद्दुद होगा, वायलेंस होगा, तो इससे फ़िरका परस्त ताकतों को, फाशिस्ट ताकतों को, भाजपा को और संघ परिवार को फ़ायदा होगा। और शहर हैदराबाद की आवाम, तेलंगाना की आवाम भी नहीं चाहती कि कोई इस तरह का वायलेंस हो या ब्रीच ऑफ पीस हो। इसीलिए हम तमाम से अपील कर रहे हैं कि शहर के और तेलंगाना के अमन को बरकरार रखिए। प्रोटेस्ट आपका कर रहे हैं, हम तमाम कर रहे हैं। हम तमाम को बीजेपी के इस विधायक की बकवास की वजह से हम तमाम को दिली, कल्बी और रूहानी तकलीफ का सामना करना पड़ रहा है। और अब सबसे बड़ी अफसोस की बात यह है कि जिस तरह नुपुर शर्मा की बकवास के बाद पूरे विश्व में भारत को लोग देख रहे थे, कैसा एक डेमोक्रेसी में रूलिंग पार्टी के लोग इस तरह की बात कर रहे हैं। हम देख रहे हैं कि चंद महीने के बाद दोबारा बीजेपी का एक विधायक वही जबान का इस्तेमाल किया जिसने नुपुर शर्मा ने इस्तेमाल किया था।
लेकिन सर, आप बीजेपी और संघ परिवार को कह रहे हैं कि वो लोग अमन और शांति हैदराबाद में खराब करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, लेकिन साथ में हम कई प्रोटेस्ट भी तो देख रहे हैं। आप स्लोगन्स सुनिए, सर तन से जुदा जैसे स्लोगन्स, तो आप उसको एक्सेप्ट करते हैं?
मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि जब प्रोटेस्ट होगा तो आप वायलेंस की बात मत करिए, और जब आप नारों की बात कर रहे हैं तो आपको ये समझना चाहिए कि मैसूर में भी एक हिंदुत्व ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के जिम्मेदार ने कहा था कि अगर सावरकर की फोटो हटाएंगे तो हाथ काट देंगे। बीजेपी के एक सीनियर लीडर राजस्थान में कहा कि हम 3 जगह पर मुसलमानों का कत्ल करवा दिए, वो गाय तस्करी के मामले में। तो किसी का भी हम जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं कबूल कर सकते। मैं फिर से आवाम से, जनता से ये अपील कर रहा हूं कि भाजपा को और संघ परिवार को उनके नापाक अज़ाइम में कामयाब होने मत दीजिए। और पुलिस की और सरकार की पहली जिम्मेदारी है कि वो जो कानूनी रेक्टिफिकेशन करना है करके फौरन उनको गिरफ्तारी उनके अमल में लानी जानी चाहिए, और गिरफ्तारी होनी चाहिए उनकी। देखिए, उनके इस बकवास वीडियो जो उन्होंने 24 अगस्त को जारी किया, वही तो सब तकलीफ के लिए, सबके लिए तकलीफ का बाइस बन रहा है।
आप राजा सिंह के अरेस्ट के लिए डिमांड कर रहे हैं, लेकिन साथ में आपके पार्टी के लीडर्स और वर्कर्स भी दिखे थे।
आज हमारे कॉर्पोरेटर को भी अरेस्ट किया गया है, हमारे कॉर्पोरेटर को अरेस्ट किया गया है। तो इसमें ऐसा कोई नहीं है।
आप पार्टी की तरफ से कोई
नहीं, हम जो भी, अरे कॉर्पोरेटर खुद जब अरेस्ट हो रहा है तो हम बीच में नहीं आ रहे हैं। क्या पैगाम दे रहे हैं हम ये बता रहे हैं कि भाजपा को कामयाब होने मत दीजिए। यकीनन हमारी आंख से आंसू नहीं बल्कि खून के आंसू निकल रहे हैं जब हमने इस विधायक के वीडियो के उस गंदगी को सुना। अरे एक ज़हनी, रूहानी, क़ल्बी तकलीफ सबको हो रही है, और पूरे विश्व में भारत का क्या नाम, बड़ा नाम हो रहा है क्या?
तो आप ये ऐसे स्टेटमेंट्स को जस्टिफाई करते हैं?
मैं ऐसे स्टेटमेंट्स जो भाजपा के विधायक दे रहे, नहीं सुनिए, आप लोग ये पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि भाजपा के विधायक के उनकी गंदगी को बचाया जाए।
फिर उनको तो पार्टी से सस्पेंड कर दिया गया है सर, उनको पार्टी से सस्पेंड।
ये एक ड्रामा है, 10 दिन का ड्रामा है, फिर वो दोबारा आ जाएंगे। मैं उस वक्त भी आज भी कह रहा हूं, नुपुर शर्मा दोबारा आएगी भाजपा में, ये शख्स भी दोबारा आएगा। ये सब आंखों में धूल झोंकने की कार्रवाई भाजपा कर रही है। और जितने सब लोग जो साथ गए थे, कौन थे वहां पे? क्या वो भाजपा के थे या आम आदमी थे? देखिए, हम जानते हैं शहर में क्या हो रहा है। तो इसलिए मेरी आपसे अदबन गुजारिश है कि हमारा फोकस इस बात पर होना चाहिए कि जिसने इस माहौल को, शहर हैदराबाद के माहौल को मकदर किया, खराब किया, कौन जिम्मेदार है उसका जिम्मेदार ये भाजपा का विधायक है। उसने प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के बारे में इस तरह की गंदगी और बकवास बक्के पूरे शहर के लिए खतरा बन चुका है, अमन के लिए। वो इसीलिए हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि सरकार और पुलिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो जरूरी कार्रवाई करना है, उनकी गिरफ्तारी के लिए वो जरूरी कार्रवाई करे।
एक आखिरी सवाल सर, आपके पार्टी ने तेलंगाना स्पीकर को भी एक लेटर लिखा है एक्सपेल्शन ऑफ राजा सिंह के लिए।
हमारे पार्टी के जनरल सेक्रेटरी जनाब अहमद पाशा कादरी साहब, जो हमारी पार्टी के जनरल सेक्रेटरी भी हैं और विधायक भी हैं, उन्होंने जनाब पोचाराम श्रीनिवास रेड्डी साहब, ऑनरेबल स्पीकर तेलंगाना को एक लेटर लिखा है जिसमें MIM की तरफ से इस बात का डिमांड किया गया है कि स्पीकर तेलंगाना राजा सिंह के खिलाफ एक्सपल्शन प्रोसीडिंग्स का आगाज करें, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो हमेशा जो ऐवान के अंदर, असेंबली के अंदर, असेंबली के बाहर जो वो लोग जो कहते हैं वो सरासर नाकाबिल कबूल है। वो संविधान के दायरे में रहकर नहीं बात करते। और जो 24 अगस्त का उनका वीडियो है, वो तो साफ तौर से जो हम तमाम विधायक और सांसद ओथ लेते भारत के संविधान के ऊपर, उसका वायलेशन है। और सेकुलरिज्म भारत के संविधान के बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर का हिस्सा है। हम स्पीकर साहब से इस बात का मुतालबा कर रहे हैं, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट भी करें कि आर्टिकल 194 जो हमारे संविधान और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का हिस्सा है, उसमें उनको इख्तियार है किसी को पनिश करने का जो ब्रीच ऑफ प्रिविलेज और कंटेम्प्ट करते हैं हाउस का। तो हम ये स्पीकर साहब को भी बताए हैं कि इनके खिलाफ नेसेसरी एक्शन एक्सपेक्शन के प्रोसीडिंग्स का आगाज किया जाए और वो रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर और कंडक्ट के मुताबिक हो। और हमने जिक्र किया सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक जजमेंट का राजा राम पाल और आशीष शलार का स्पीकर साहब की आसानी के लिए, और उम्मीद करते हैं कि स्पीकर साहब हमारे इस रिप्रेजेंटेशन पर गौर करेंगे।
Owaisi, of course, deflecting on the Sar Tan Se Juda question. On that note, that's all we had for 6:30 p.m. live and breaking. For the biggest story of the day, it's biggest story tonight with Niranjan in Mumbai studios.
Thank you for that, Abhishek. In fact, it's a free-for-all in Hyderabad. And the reason why we're saying it's free-for-all, because you had one hate monger. His name is Raja Singh. He makes a hate comment. He's arrested. He's granted bail. He's out. And then there are beheading calls for violence. And there are more hate mongers on the streets calling for beheadings, and there's no action taken against them. We have some videos and a confrontation with one such hate monger. Let's get started with the biggest story tonight. Hyderabad on the edge as hate mongers are taking over the streets. From Sar Tan Se Juda to Congress hate tapes from Hyderabad, is it free for all? Congress leaders are on tape asking for a tax on suspended BJP leader Raja Singh. Thursday shutdown call in Hyderabad, flag march held, situation is tense. Lalu's family and aides are raided in 25 locations across Bihar. ED finds 2 AK-47s in Jharkhand. Chief Minister Hemant Soren's aides home. The mystery over the illegal mining scam is getting bigger. Anand Sharma of the Congress party claims groupism in his party. Even spokespersons like Jaiveer Shergill are quitting the Congress. Thank you for joining us on the biggest story tonight. There have been several tapes from Hyderabad. In fact, in the last 48 hours, ever since a very controversial leader, in fact, he's a hate monger himself. His name is T. Raja Singh, now suspended by the BJP, put up a video talking about the Prophet. And he was arrested, granted bail, and there are more protests across Hyderabad. In the last 48 hours, several people have come out on the streets asking for Raja Singh to be re-arrested. Some are calling for his beheading. Open calls for beheading. Political parties joining those protests where these beheading calls are being made, and mainstream parties, national parties like the Congress, fielding their leaders, asking for violence against such people. Congress leaders are on tape heard saying that Raja Singh should be attacked. There are 2 videos of Congress leaders calling for violence. I'd like to play out both these videos, one after the other. And it's really shocking that even leaders from the Congress, parties like the Congress, are asking for open violence, not trusting the law. Obviously, they've never trusted the law, they've never trusted the courts. We'll play out those videos. We in fact confronted one such leader. I'd like to play that interview out. His name is Feroz Khan. He's contested rather on a Congress ticket from Hyderabad. He's fought the parliamentary elections. He's fought the assembly elections. And he wants Raja Singh to be attacked. So these are elected representatives or those who fight to be elected representatives asking for violence on the streets of Hyderabad. Same party that says Bharat Jodo. They say Bharat Jodo. They want to have Bharat Jodo campaigns across India, but they want Hyderabad Thodo in Telangana. Take a look at this interview with one such hate monger from the Congress party. In the last 48 to 72 hours, there has been complete mayhem in Hyderabad with one very controversial leader. Many call him a hate monger for the kind of comments that he made on social media that is literally set ablaze the communal fabric, the peace fabric of Hyderabad. And his name is Raja Singh. Raja Singh was arrested and released, and we've been looking at protests for the last 48 hours. Many leaders are fronting some of these protests. Many AIMIM leaders were seen leading these protests and asking for people to raise slogans like Sartan Se Juda. Now, many controversial leaders are making many controversial comments. And I have one leader with me, Muhammad Firoz Khan is from the Congress party. Muhammad Firoz Khan, you're the Congress in charge of Hyderabad. You're a political leader belonging to the Congress party. You know the law of the land is taking, is in motion, right? Now, you have an issue. The Hyderabad police has said they will correct, they'll make corrections, they will see if they can arrest him again. Now, why don't you just let the law take its course? Why are you making comments like every Muslim should beat up Raja Singh?
Raja Singh is a habituated offender. Not for the first time he is doing all this. He is doing this from past 20 years. There are 49 cases against this person. So, हिंदुस्तान का अमन चैन सुकून बर्बाद करने के लिए ये लोग पॉलिटिकल पोलराइजेशन अपना चुनाव जीतने के लिए ये हिंदू मुसलमानों के दिल में एक शर पैदा कर रहे हैं, एक नफरत पैदा कर रहे हैं। ऐसे लोग अगर से एक आध टाइम पे गलती हो जाती, राइट, निपुण शर्मा बोली, पहली टाइम बोली, ओके राइट, गलत बात बोली, बात समझ में आती। मगर ये जो राजा सिंह है, ये कंटिन्यूसली 20 ईयर से, जब इन्हें गली का लीडर था, जब इन्हें कॉर्पोरेटर बना, जब इन्हें एमएलए बना, हर टाइम सेम हरकत करता। और इसके लिए हम कानून को बोले हैं कि पुलिस को बोले हैं कि इसको पीडी एक्ट में, प्रिवेंशन एंड डिटेंशन एक्ट में बुक करो। मुख्यमंत्री केसीआर साहब को भी हम बोले हैं कि ये फिट केस है जो अमन शांति और हिंदुस्तान और खुसूसी हैदराबाद की गंगा जमुना तहजीब को खराब कर रहा, ये नाली के कीड़े को जेल में डालो।
आप करो, लेकिन आप ये से क्यों बोल रहे हो कि इसको मारना चाहिए, हर मुसलमान को आके रास्ते रोड पे आके इसको मारना है करके?
बराबर बोलते। जो ये अमन शांति को खराब कर रहा, हिंदुस्तान का मतलब क्या है? यूनिटी इन डाइवर्सिटी, अनेकता में एकता। हम पाकिस्तान में नहीं है, हम इराक में नहीं है, हम तालिबान में नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली, तालिबान में नहीं है। ये सरतन से जुदा, ऑलरेडी वहाँ पे सरतन से जुदा पूरा हो रहा है। वहाँ पे नारे लग रहे हैं।
सुनिए, वो सरतन से जुदा को हम अप्रिशिएट नहीं करते, हम उसको कंडेम करते, मगर राजा सिंह को सबक सिखाना बोल तो जूते मारना उसको।
सबक तो लॉ सिखाएगा। नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ सबक तो लॉ सिखाएगा उसको।
नहीं सिखाना पड़ता, केसीआर को हम बोल दिए हैं।
आप क्या करेंगे? आप लोगों को क्यों बोल रहे हैं कि जाके उसको मारो करके? आपको क्या चाहिए? डू यू वांट, आप अमन के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, गंगा जमुना तहजीब के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, तो आपको दंगे चाहिए आपको हैदराबाद में?
नहीं, अगर से आप इसको अरेस्ट नहीं करेंगे और आप इसको जेल में नहीं रखेंगे तो आगे जाके दंगे होंगे। तो जैसा आपके चैनल्स बोलते थे कि दंगे होते नहीं, दंगे करवाए जाते, तो ये राजा सिंह के वैसे फालतू लोगों के प्रोग्रामर रहते। तो अगर से इसको जेल को नहीं डालेंगे, इसको अंदर, तो दंगे होना जरूरी है।
दंगे होना जरूरी है। नहीं,
मुसलमान
आप बोल रहे दंगे होना, फिरोज?
होने में क्या होता?
नहीं, आप बोल रहे कि दंगे होंगे?
होते, सुनिए, होते। क्यों होते? राजा सिंह ये दंगों में नहीं मरता, फिरोज खान नहीं मरता, अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी नहीं मरता, असदुद्दीन नहीं मरता, गरीब कमजोर मरता। वो तकलीफ है हमारी। इन्हें मुसलमानों की दुख की रख को छीन दिया इन्हें। इसको रसूलुल्लाह के बारे में, प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद के बारे में क्या मालूम? इसको नहीं मालूम। निपुण शर्मा बोले जब कितना हंगामा हो गया, पूरी दुनिया में
ये जो बोला है गलत है फिरोज। हम भी बोल रहे कि ये गलत है, लेकिन मेरा प्रश्न आपसे सिर्फ ये है कि आप कौन होते जो दो लोग को बोलता कि सब लोग मार लो उसके, सब मुसलमान उसको मारना चाहिए? ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे आप?
इसलिए कि ये 20 ईयर से सेम काम कर रहा।
तो उसको जाके उनके घर पे जाके मारेंगे आप? घर में घुस के मारेंगे उसको?
नहीं, उन्हें जिधर दिखा, घर में घुस के तो नहीं मारते, मगर उन्हें रोड के ऊपर जिधर दिखा, पब्लिक मीटिंग में जिधर दिखा उधर मारते जाके।
तो आप उनको अटैक करेंगे?
मारते, अटैक कुछ नहीं, मारते।
मारने का मतलब है अटैक करना। आप अटैक करेंगे उसको?
आपकी जो भी भाषा है, मारते तो पक्का उन्हें,
आप उनको मारेंगे,
बराबर मारते उसको।
नहीं, आप कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता होके ये बोल रहे हैं?
कांग्रेस बाजू कटा देखिए, मैं कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता के साथ नकली हो मेरे को। इंडिविजुअल फिरोज खान बात कर रहे हैं आपसे, राइट?
नो बट इंडिविजुअल कैसे हो सकते हैं? कल अकबरुद्दीन ओवैसी भी बोलेंगे कि मैं इंडिविजुअल हूं, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है।
मैं आज जो भी स्टेटमेंट आपको दे रहा हूं, जो भी मेरा स्टेटमेंट है, वो मेरा इंडिविजुअल स्टेटमेंट है, कोई पार्टी से मेरे को ताल्लुक नहीं है। इस मामले में ये हमारे सेंटिमेंट को हर्ट कर दिया, इन्हें माफी मांगना
नहीं, आपको भारत का जो कानून है उसमें भरोसा नहीं है?
बहुत भरोसा है। उसके लिए टाइम दे दिया मुख्यमंत्री को, कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस को, कि मेहरबानी करके 2-4 दिन में पीडी एक्ट को डालो, डाल के जेल को भिजा दो, बस।
बहुत सारे लोग बाहर आ रहे हैं फिरोज, बहुत सारे लोग बाहर आ रहे हैं और बहुत गुस्सा है लोगों में, तो आप भी उसमें थोड़ा आग लगा रहे हो ना, आप लोग, सब लोग।
आप बोलो आग लगा रहे हैं, तेल डाल रहे हैं, पेट्रोल डाल रहे हैं, केरोसिन डाल रहे हैं, कोई भी डाल रहे हैं। राजा से गलती कर दिया, उसको माफी मांग लो, बोलो, बात खत्म हो जाती है। उन्हें माफी नहीं मांगेंगे तो बराबर हिंदुस्तान की आवाम, हैदराबाद की आवाम उसको सबक सिखाती।
हिंदुस्तान में सबक सिखाएंगे? क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप?
बराबर सिखाते। गंगा जमुना तहजीब को खराब नहीं करना, राइट? काय के लिए शर पैदा कर रहे हैं? तेलंगाना होके आज 8 साल हो गए।
ओपन थ्रेट है फिरोज, ये ओपन थ्रेट है फिरोज। आप नेता होके ऐसे बातें कैसे कर सकते हैं आप?
बस कर रहे हैं। पानी सर के ऊपर से हो गया, 20 साल से सबर कर रहे हैं। पानी जब सर के ऊपर से चली जाता तो इसी तरीके की भाषा होती। भाई साहब, एक आध टाइम 2 टाइम कोई गलती कर दिया तो हम उनको माफ कर देते, चलो छोड़ दो। मगर प्लान करके आप आके आप सोशल मीडिया
नहीं, ये जो बोल रहे हैं आप सही नहीं है फिरोज जी। आप ये बोल रहे सब लोग वहां पे फ्लैग मार्च चल रहा है और आप ऐसे बात करने से लोगों में और ज्यादा आक्रोश होगा। ये सही बात नहीं है। मैं आपको बोल रहा हूं, आप कांग्रेस के लीडर है, आप थोड़ा जिम्मेदारी से बात कीजिए आप।
नहीं, मेरे को पहली बात, आप कांग्रेस का लीडर हो के लेवल ना को देंगे, फिरोज खान बोल के आप बात करिए। मैं जो बात कर रहा हूँ हर एक मुसलमान के जज्बात की बात कर रहा हूँ। मैं तो बहुत कम बात कर रहा हूँ, पर हर मुसलमान जो मेरे को फोन करके
एक मिनट, हर मुसलमान का आप कैसे, हर मुसलमान का आप लीडर कैसे बन गए आप? हर मुसलमान का, हाउ हैव यू बिकम द स्पोक्सपर्सन फॉर ऑल मुस्लिम्स?
ऑल मुस्लिम्स। जब से ये इंसिडेंट हुआ अब तक मेरा फोन कंटिन्यूस चल रहा, हर जगह जहां पर भी जा रहा हूँ एक ही बात बोल रहे हैं, राजा सिंह को सबक सिखाने का है, हम समझा रहे हैं।
नहीं, आपको चाहिए कि लोगों, आपको एक चीज पूछता हूँ, आपको पता है उदयपुर में क्या हुआ कन्हैया लाल के साथ? आपको पता है
गलत है
उमेश कोले के साथ क्या हुआ अमरावती? आप चाहते हैं कि ऐसा और मर्डर्स हो अक्रॉस इंडिया?
नो, लिसन, इनोसेंट गरीब नहीं मरना, जो कल्प्रिट है उन्हें जूते खाना। कल्प्रिट राजा सिंह है, राजा सिंह की प्लानिंग है, ये कॉन्स्पिरेसी है, ये 20 साल से कर रहा है इन्हें।
तो सरतन से जुदा, एक मिनट, आप और एआईएमआईएम के बीच में फर्क क्या है? अभी उनके लोग अभी बोल रहे हैं कि सरतन से जुदा, आप भी बोल रहे हैं कि मार दो, घर में घुस के मार दो, यहाँ पे मार दो, भारत में मार दो। डिफरेंस क्या है?
सुनिए, अब ये मामले में कुछ भी डिफरेंस नहीं है। एआईएमआईएम भी क्या बोलते हैं, मुसलमान है, हम भी मुसलमान है, उन्हें भी हिंदुस्तानी है, हम भी हिंदुस्तानी है। इन्हें 20 साल से कर रहा, उन लोग भी देख रहे हैं, हम लोग भी देख रहे हैं, पूरी आवाम देख रहे हैं, आप भी देख रहे हैं। मगर आप एंकर बने रहे,
आपको ये बोलना चाहता हूँ, आपको सिर्फ ये बोलना चाहता हूँ फिरोज जी, आप you've contested MP elections on a Congress ticket?
Yes.
You've contested MLA elections on a Congress ticket?
Yes.
You're the Congress in charge of Hyderabad?
Yes.
How can you make such a comment?
I will do it, not one time, 100 times I will do it. Raja Singh should tell sorry. Sorry.
You take the legal route. You take the legal route.
He sits 20 years is doing. Not for the first time he's doing. Every time he's coming and talking some.
But you take the legal route. There is a court for that. No. Firoz, there's a court for that. You go to the court. You go to the court. Why are you asking people to go and attack him? Why are you asking all Muslims to go and attack him?
He has to tell sorry. Then law of the land take the course.
But even you can be arrested for giving. But Firoz, technically, even you can be arrested for giving a threat. You're also giving an open threat. You're also a threat to the society now, Firoz.
Let 100 cases get booked on me. No problem. He has to tell sorry.
Okay, let's see where the story goes. Firoz Khan, Congress leader, they're joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
There was an open threat. They're saying that they will go and attack Raja Singh. It's a call for violence. It's an open call for violence. In fact, all of today, and Priyanka has been reporting live, there have been calls for violence and open beheading calls on the streets of Hyderabad. What's the situation, Priyanka?
Well, Niranjan, when we hear statements like these that have been now made by the Congress leaders and also the MIM leaders, we are seeing the direct repercussions of those statements here on the ground. And that's exactly the images that we had shown earlier as well during the flag march. And the protesters that had come there waving the black flags. And the kind of protests that had also taken place midnight yesterday, right here at this spot where we are reporting from, where in fact these so-called Sar Sant Se Juda sloganeering in fact had been done in the middle of these protests. In fact, it was very evidently heard, it was very loudly heard in those videos as well. But today as well, we are seeing that several of these sporadic protests that have broken out during the time of the flag march. Now, that being said, we see the kind of statements that are being made by the political fraternity, including the AIMIM and now, of course, the Congress, in that very detailed interview that you have also done of the Congress in charge of Hyderabad, who is in fact completely being unapologetic and stating that people should come out on the streets, and in fact that Raja Singh should also be beaten up in that interview, he said. And also he has said that they will make these insightful statements not once but 100 times if that means that Raja Singh will come out and apologize. Now, of course, they're not talking about the legal recourse here, but that is something that we have been seeing, that the authorities have been appealing to the protesters. Now, authorities are not telling the protesters to not come out and protest. They are saying that this is well within your legal right to come out and protest against these kind of statements. Of course, but then these kind of statements cannot be made where there are insightful speeches made, where there are Sar Sant Se Juda sloganeering that is being made. However, today we did see, at least on the ground, we are seeing that the people, at least on the ground, being a voice of sanity, even if politicians have not been so. That has been very evident in that interview that you've just done of the Congress in charge, who's stating that they want to beat up Raja Singh and that they will go inside his house, ghar mein ghus ke marenge. These are the kind of statements that we are seeing of the politicians. But at least the people who are on the ground, today we have seen that there is some kind of change. They have been demanding justice against Raja Singh for sure. They have been saying that there will have to be a legal recourse that they will be taking to fight against Raja Singh and the likes of Raja Singh, as they must, because of the kind of statements that he has been making. However, the authorities had been appealing to them to not take law in their own hands. That was the only thing that the authorities had been appealing. But when we see these politicians make these kind of insightful statements, we see on the ground, Niranjan, we have been seeing it through the day, the repercussions of it, the direct repercussions of it, of how there are several people who come out on the ground and then carry out these kind of sloganeering, and that is just the first step. We had seen in that interview, you very rightly mentioned about Unmesh Kole, you mentioned about Udaipur, and of course we have been on the ground in both of those instances where we have seen very sporadic attack that has taken place on these victims because of some people who have gotten too emotional and have gotten carried away in those emotions that have been incited by these politicians, which is very, very evident with the kind of videos that are coming to light, the statements that are being made by these politicians, especially like the Congress leader that we had just interviewed, and he had in fact not once but at least 3 times repeated that they will be going inside his house and beating him up, and they will make these kind of insightful speeches as long as Raja Singh does not come out and apologize. Now, that being said, we are seeing that the people, at least here on the ground, are stating that they will be approaching the courts and that they will be going to the higher authorities, higher courts, and then of course demanding justice for their religion as well. And they have in fact stated that the legal recourse will be approached as well. However, the authorities are attentive here. They are making sure that there are no sporadic protests that take place that turn violent.
Priyanka, there's another leader. In fact, his name is Rashid Khan. I think Rashid Khan or something. I'm just checking his name. His name is Rashid Khan. He's apparently a Congress leader. I'm being told. I'm just checking his name. His name is apparently Rashid Khan. I'm going to play out his tape. Now, even this man has made a similar comment. Listen to this. Listen to this.
मैं बोल रहा हूं, अगर से 23rd के दिन उसको अरेस्ट नहीं करेंगे राजा सिंह को, 24th के दिन मैं राशिद खान गोशा महल को अंगार में बदल दूंगा। मैं फिर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को तोड़ने के लिए मैं तैयार हूं और मैं तैयार रहूंगा वो दिन भी। अगर से लॉ एंड ऑर्डर टूटेगा तो इसका जिम्मेदार मैं नहीं। मैं बोल रहा हूं, अगर से 23rd के दिन उसको अरेस्ट नहीं करेंगे राजा सिंह को, 24th के दिन मैं राशिद खान गोशा महल को अंगार में बदल दूंगा। मैं फिर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को तोड़ने के लिए मैं तैयार हूं और मैं तैयार रहूंगा वो दिन भी। अगर से लॉ एंड ऑर्डर टूटेगा तो इसका जिम्मेदार मैं नहीं।
So you just heard him. I mean, it's bizarre to say the least. Shocking because these people are standing in front of a police station. In fact, let me take that video just on the screen. You see this Congress leader, he's actually standing in front of a police station. Let me play that video out. Just show you the video once. He's standing in front of a police station and he's saying, my name is Rashid Khan. Look at that. Nampally police station. Look at that. I mean, can you imagine standing in front of the police station and saying, I will make sure that the law and order situation gets worse. He says, I will make sure single-handedly the law and order situation crumbles, goes for a toss. And that is a Congress leader, Congress leader. The same party that says they will undertake a Bharat Jodo Yatra and they want to Thodo Hyderabad. Ironic. Quick check of the other top stories we're tracking on the biggest story tonight. In fact, we'll take a short break and come back with all of those big stories on Republic we've been tracking through the day. It's been a big day of raids, investigations across India in the illegal mining scam. Hemant Soren's aid has been raided. 2 AK-47s have been recovered. We're getting you the details and the mining scam expose. All about Lalu's aides being raided. Lalu's aides, Lalu's family members, those linked to Lalu, raided, and they're brazening it out. Telling you all about that. Pakistan terror tape out. Footage with Republic showing how Pakistani terrorists tried to sneak into India and our alert forces have thwarted infiltration attempts. Big stories broken on Republic through the day, coming up on Republic.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
This is going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodiya is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodiya, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodiya has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile.
The CBI has raided Lalu, his family members, and mall and properties linked to Tejasvi Yadav in Gurugram, Haryana, on a day when the trust vote was taking place in Bihar. This is the land for jobs scam. Tejasvi, however, speaking, the Bihar Assembly denied any link.
इस सरकार में हर प्रकार का माफिया राज.
Nitish Kumar-Led government has won the trust vote in Bihar Assembly, saying BJP is playing divisive politics.
अच्छा है. अरे इतना ज्यादा दिल्ली से सिक्योरिटी का इंतजाम मिल गया है ना, इसलिए बोलो. ये भी हम लोगों की पार्टी छोड़ करके गया है, तो कुछ बोलेगा तो आप लोगों को कुछ दिल्ली वाला जगह देगा. समझ गए ना? भले लोगों को जगह नहीं मिलेगा आप लोगों में से, जो अंड बंड बोलेगा उसी को जगह मिलेगा, आप जान लीजिए.
Senior Congress leader Anand Sharma batted for changes in the party, saying the Congress party must avoid factionalism for ensuring that the party revives somehow.
I am not getting into numbers are immaterial. What is important is that the Congress party remains strong, its ideology, its philosophy. And as we are concerned, that we have literally vacated large political space, important states, or we have been, say, overwhelmed by our political opponents.
More and more setbacks to the Congress party. Even spokespersons are quitting. Javier Shergill, a spokesperson, has also quit the party, citing sycophancy in the Congress. And we'll keep a close track on all the developments. That's it on the biggest story tonight. At 8 p.m, the big debate around the slogans in Hyderabad. Those raising the beheading slogans and why they are still free on the streets of Hyderabad. And why Raja Singh is still a free man tonight.
Hate-monger Raja Singh suspended. What about others? No action against Sartan Se Juda sloganeers. Watch The Burning Question tonight at 8 p.m.
Amity University Dubai has been awarded as the best university campus in the Middle East by Forbes magazine and recognized as the best university for job placements. Jumpstart your global career in Dubai with Amity, with faculty and students from over 50 nationalities. Visit amity.edu/Dubai.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Mahagathbandhan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford.
Handing it over to my colleague Shivangi, joining us on Superfast 50 in prime time.
Well, thank you, Niranjan. We'll get you all the updates, national, international sports, coming up next on Superfast 50. Let's get started. The CBI conducted raids at 25 different places, reportedly in connection with Land for Jobs scam. The raids are underway at different places in Delhi, Haryana's Gurugram, and Bihar's Patna, Katihar, and Madhubani. The CBI conducted raids at the residence of 4 senior leaders of the Rashtriya Janata Dal who are closely linked to party supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav. The leads and the raids are in connection with the Land for Jobs scam case, and searches were carried out at the premises of RJD MLC Sunil Singh, former MLC Subodh Roy, Rajya Sabha MPs Ahmad Ashfaq Karim and Fayaz Ahmad in Patna.
100% जानबूझ करके, कोई मतलब नहीं है इसका। कौन नहीं जानता है भाई हमारे बारे में? चोरी चमारी करते हैं। आपके ऊपर क्या आरोप लगा रहे हैं ये? तो क्या मिलेगा? घर में ये लोग हैं, हम बाहर हैं।
Bihar CM Nitish Kumar hit out at its previous ally BJP over their speculations of him having a prime ministerial ambitions, and said that he does not want to become anything. Hitting out at the BJP over the ongoing raids against Lalu aides, our LD leader Tejasvi Yadav said that centre cannot threaten Bihar government. He added that the BJP uses its 3 weapons, namely CBI, ED and IT, whenever it loses power in a state. As Bihar CM Nitish Kumar launched attack against centre, the Bharatiya Janata Party legislators staged a walk out from the Bihar Assembly. The ED is conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashok Nagar areas of Ranchi, on the matter related to illegal mining. The ED is also raiding many locations in states across the country simultaneously, and in some of these, along with ED's teams, CRPF teams are also deployed for security. In another Republic super explosive news break, 2 AK-47 rifles were found during raids on an alleged middleman in the entire mining racket, in which Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren's close aide Pankaj Mishra is under arrest. AK-47 rifles were photographed having been found in a metal almirah. Massive protests erupted in Hyderabad over suspended BJP MLA Raja Singh's remarks after he was granted bail. Slogans seeking violent reprisal were heard being raised aggressively at Shalibanda and other locations of the old city. To bring the situation under control, police had to conduct lathi charge to disperse the protesters. Telangana police carried out a flag march in Hyderabad after protests erupted against suspended BJP leader T. Raja Singh. All petrol pumps across parts of Hyderabad Old City were closed amid the protests. This comes after Raja Singh was granted bail hours after his arrest on Tuesday over his alleged remarks on Islam and Prophet Muhammad. Congress leader Jaiveer Shargil tendered his resignation as the national spokesperson of the party, claiming that the vision of the decision maker was no longer in sync with the aspirations of the youth. He also said that self-serving interests were gaining precedence while public and national interests were being ignored. The massive show of protests against the Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. BJP workers broke barricading and hundreds of workers were arrested. A huge ruckus was witnessed as some workers were also injured. BJP's movement is against unemployment and state law and order and corruption.
भ्रष्टतम सरकार के खिलाफ, ये इनसेंसिटिव सरकार के खिलाफ आज युवा मोर्चा एक सबसे बड़ा आंदोलन आज संगठित किया।
The CBI custody of TMC Birbhum District President Anubrata Mondal, who was arrested in connection with the cattle smuggling case in West Bengal, has ended today, and he was presented in the Asansol court, following which he has now been sent to judicial custody for 14 days. A special CBI court judge has alleged that he has received a letter threatening to implicate his family in drug cases if he did not grant bail to Trinamool Congress leader Anubrata Mondal. The Asansol special CBI court judge Rajesh Chakraborty alleged that the letter he received was signed by one Bappa Chatterjee. Mamta's man Anubrata Mondal has denied links to the threat letter while requesting the judge to investigate yesterday's threat letter. A special session of Delhi Legislative Assembly has been called on 26 August in the ongoing Liquorgate scam. Amid unending war of words on Liquorgate scam, BJP demanded answers from the Aam Aadmi Party government, saying it is running away from the main issues of the scam. Further, BJP upped the ante, calling Sisodia the liquor minister.
बात करते हैं वर्ल्ड में कितने बड़े हीरो हो गए हैं उसके विषय में बात करते हैं, मगर जिन प्रश्नों को भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पूछा है उसका जवाब आम आदमी पार्टी और मनीष सिसोदिया दे नहीं पा रहे हैं.
Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal called a meeting of the Public Affairs Committee, the Aam Aadmi Party's highest decision body, at his residence on Wednesday. After the meet concluded, the party reiterated its allegations against BJP of approaching Sisodia. Hyderabad court issued notice to BJP leader Paresh Verma and Manjinder S. Sirsa and directed them to not make any defamatory statements against TRS MLC and Chief Minister KCR's daughter K. Kavita in the media. The court has kept September 13 as the next date of hearing in the case. In a big affirmation of the security forces' deployment of countermeasures to prevent rampant Pakistani attempts to infiltrate terrorists into India, surveillance footage has been accessed of the two terrorists trying to sneak into the country on August 22nd. In the footage, the terrorists unwittingly step on a landmine which explodes, thwarting their nefarious efforts in their tracks. A post-mortem of actor and BJP leader Sonali Fogart will be conducted at the Goa Medical College and Hospital as per latest updates. Fogart's family suspects foul play in the case and has demanded a CBI investigation.
हरियाणा से गोवा 8 बजे मैं शाम को पहुंचा हूं. मैंने मेरी खुद की बेस के ऊपर मैंने इंक्वायरी की है, तो यहाँ ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, नॉर्मल डेथ नहीं है. ये एक प्री प्लान मर्डर था और इसमें जो अपराधी हैं वो फिलहाल पुलिस की गिरफ्त में भी हैं और नहीं भी हैं. वो आराम से बैठे हैं, अपने फ़ोन यूज़ कर रहे हैं और उनको कोई परेशानी नहीं है. मैं कल शाम 8 बजे यहाँ आया, तब से मैं परेशान हूँ. अंजुना
Seeking justice for the death of her mother from the government and daughter of BJP leader from Haryana, television actor Sonali Fogart said that a proper investigation is required in the case.
को जस्टिस मिलना चाहिए, इन्वेस्टिगेशन होनी चाहिए प्रॉपर, और जो कल्प्रिट है उन्हें पनिशमेंट मिलनी चाहिए.
A massive haul raids over Mundra post-drug valued 20,000 crore rupees has been busted. DRI seized 3,000 kilograms of drugs from the port in September last year, originating in Afghanistan. The Congress Working Committee at the party's highest decision-making body will hold a virtual meeting on Sunday to approve the exact schedule of dates for the election of the Congress President. Congress President Sonia Gandhi will preside over the CWC meeting. BJP Yuva Morcha workers staged protests against the Kerala government in Thiruvananthapuram today. The protesters later went on to block roads, forcing police to detain them. A special NIA court said that one more witness in the 2008 Malgaon bomb blast case has turned hostile. Said that the witness was the landlord of accused Sudhakar Chaturvedi for some time in the year 2006 to 2007. He denied having given any statement to the agency. PM Modi is inaugurating and dedicating two very large and significant health initiatives today. The PM inaugurated the Amrita Hospital, which is said to be Asia's biggest multi-speciality hospital in Haryana's Faridabad, and next at Punjab's Mohali, where he will dedicate Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre to the nation.
बिल्डिंग के हिसाब से, टेक्नोलॉजी से जितना आधुनिक है, सेवा, संवेदना और आध्यात्मिक चेतना के हिसाब से भी उतना ही अलौकिक है.
Supreme Court asked the centre why it cannot call an all-party meeting to determine issues relating to the promise of freebies during election campaigns. Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana remarks comes after Solicitor General of India Tushar Mehta, appearing for the centre, said that there are parties who may not be in power were rolling out promises to influence the voters unduly. A shocking incident of attack on RPF woman constable has come to fore from Chennai Beach railway station. The constable was attacked by an unidentified person in the train. Meanwhile, she is undergoing medical treatment. PM Modi dedicated the Homi Bhabha Cancer Hospital and Research Centre to the nation in Punjab's Mohali district in an endeavour to provide world-class cancer care to the residents of Punjab and neighbouring states and UTs. PM Modi, while addressing Punjab's Mohali, thanked the youth of Punjab for making Har Ghar Tiranga campaign a success in the state. Supreme Court reserved an order on a plea challenging the decision to deny sanctions to prosecute UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath in a matter pertaining to hate speech in 2007. Following the directions from Kerala court, police have registered a case against KT Jaleel, the former Kerala minister, and the ruling LDF legislator over his recent controversial remarks on Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. According to the DRDO, trials of the Pinaka have extended range rockets are going in the Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and multiple successful test firings have been carried out during these tests. Developed by the DRDO, the rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Indian Met Department has stated that heavy rainfall spells are likely over the east of India over the next 2 days. The IMD has placed the entire state of Odisha and Kerala on orange alert. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held separate bilateral talks with his Uzbek, Kazakh and Belarusian counterparts on the first day of the 3-day visit to Tashkent. The Raksha Mantri is there in the capital city of Uzbekistan to attend a conclave of the defence ministers of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. PM Modi plans to attend the state funeral of former Japan PM Shinzo Abe next month, according to Japanese media. The government there has scheduled the state funeral for Abe on September 27. The ceremony will take place at the Nippon Budokan area, the National Garden in Tokyo's Chiyoda Ward. Iraq president met with US ambassador to Iraq in Baghdad, according to a statement by the Iraqi presidency. Bilateral relations and regional development on the agenda, as well as fighting terrorism and mitigating the effects of climate change in a region which has been hit very, very hard by changes in the environment. Israel's caretaker PM said that the West, led by the US, should not strike a bad deal with Iran over its nuclear capabilities. Lapid told reporters that US would give Iran $100 billion a year. Supporters of Malaysian ex-PM Najib Razak gathered outside the National Palace to seek royal intervention just a day after he began a 12-year jail term, while opponents launched an online petition urging the monarch to deny clemency. Najib went behind bars on Tuesday after losing a final appeal in a graft case linked to the massive looting of the 1MDB state fund. Schools in Bangladesh will close an additional day each week, and government offices and banks will shorten their work days by an hour to reduce electricity usage amid concerns over rising fuel prices and the impact of the Ukraine war. The reduced hours take effect on Wednesday. French President Emmanuel Macron gathered his ministers for the government's first cabinet meeting in wake of a summer break, which has been now marked by drought, dramatic forest fires, and the war in Ukraine. The French president vowed to make bold and clear choices the months to come to hasten France's environmental transition. Pope Francis marked the 6th month from the start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine by denouncing the insanity of the war and lamenting that innocents on both sides were paying the price. Francis referred to the weekend car bomb killing in Moscow of Daria Dugina, daughter of Putin's close aide Alexander Dugin, who ardently supports the war. Residents of Kyiv woke up to air raid sirens on Wednesday as Ukraine celebrated its Independence Day and marked 6 months since the start of the Russian invasion. Authorities in the capital have banned large-scale gatherings until Thursday, fearing Russian missile attacks, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged the public to be vigilant. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and First Lady Olena has laid out flowers at a memorial dedicated to Ukrainian soldiers killed in the Donbas region during the war. As Ukraine marks the 6th-month anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has congratulated Ukraine in its Independence Day and vowed to support the country in its war against Russia for as long as it takes. NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg has now called out the members of the alliance to invest more on defense in an increasingly dangerous world. He said in the pretext of what's going on in the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Spend more on defense, and I have been a politician myself for many years, and I know that of course it is always more tempting to spend on healthcare, on education, on infrastructure, instead of spending on defense. But when we live in a more dangerous world, when we see the aggressive actions of President Putin against a sovereign, peaceful nation in Europe, Ukraine, and all the threatening rhetoric against NATO allies, then we need to invest more, and that's exactly what NATO allies are doing. The UK already spends more than 2%, but we need to do more together. And we need to invest in new and more modern capabilities to ensure that we are able to also protect all allies in the future.
Thailand's Constitutional Court ruled that PM must suspend his active duties while the court decides whether he has overstayed his legal term in office. It was not immediately announced who would assume his duties as acting PM. Under law, it would be Deputy PM Pravit Wongsuwan, who is ranked first among several deputies. Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif met his Qatari counterpart in Doha at the start of the two-day official visit to country. Remember, Pakistan has struggled to secure a $7 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund amid an economic crisis, which has worsened by rising global food prices due to, in part, by Russia's war on Ukraine. Trouble mounted for Imran Khan as another FIR was registered against him by the Islamabad police for flouting a ban on public gatherings in Pakistan's capital city, Islamabad. He was booked for violating Section 144 and addressing a rally in Islamabad's F9 Park on August 20th in protest against the alleged torture meted out to the PTI chairman's chief of staff, Shehbaz Gill. They were also charged for using loudspeakers despite the prevailing restriction. South Korea continued nationwide anti-terror drills as part of the annual exercise. One of the anti-terror drills has taken place at the headquarters of Seoul Metro. During the simulated training, fire crews, police and military forces practiced handling hostage crisis and countering chemical and drone attacks to the major national facilities. A whistleblower has now complained with the US officials, has alleged that Twitter misled regulators about its poor cybersecurity defenses and its negligence in attempting to root out fake accounts there that spread misinformation. The revelation could create serious legal and financial problems for the social media platform, which is currently attempting to force Tesla CEO Elon Musk to complete his $44 billion offer to buy the company.
According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
This is going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodiya is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodiya, and now the court has given the order, and now Manish Sisodiya has to be there on 29th of September in this particular defamation case.
Ahead of the trust vote in Bihar's assembly today, BJP workers burnt an effigy of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar over allowing and backing the Bihar minister Mansoori's entry into the Vishnupad temple. Prime Minister Modi is set to visit Punjab's Mohali district to inaugurate the Homi Bhabha Cancer Research and Hospital and Research Centre. Meanwhile, tight security arrangements have been made in the district. The NIA is conducting raids at the residence of Advocate Mia Qayyum at the Barzula area of Srinagar. He was arrested by the Jammu and Kashmir police over the intervening night of August 4th and 5th. This, of course, was hours before the centre scrapped the erstwhile state special status. Qayyum was booked under PSA on the 7th of August and was flown to Agra jail, and he was later shifted to Tihar jail after his health condition deteriorated. After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline Hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline Hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement, and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur.
Viewers, Republic has confronted a Pakistani terrorist who was apprehended by the Indian Army on August 21st from the Nowshera sector along the line of control. Listen in.
मौजूद हैं। तबरक, मुझे ये बताइए किस तंजीम से हैं आप? आतंकी किस तंजीम से?
लश्कर
से हैं।
जी।
मुझे ये बताइए किसने आपको यहाँ पे भेजा था, हैंडलर कौन?
चोरी यूनुस।
यूनुस ने? तो क्या मंसूबा था, कहाँ अटैक करना था?
जंगल पोस्ट पे।
जंगल पोस्ट पे। मुझे बताइए आपकी जान किसने बचाई?
इंडियन आर्मी ने।
इंडियन आर्मी ने आपको पूरी जो है सहायता दे रही है?
जी।
ऑन रिकॉर्ड कन्फेशन है ये आतंकी तबरीक का, किस तरह से उसकी जान जो है वो भारतीय सेना ने यहाँ पर बचाई है, और वो बता रहा है कि किस तरह झंगड़ पोस्ट पर अटैक करना उसकी साजिश थी।
Hate monger Raja Singh suspended. What about others? No action against Sartan se juda sloganeers. Watch The Burning Question tonight at 8 p.m.
After Sanjay Raut was arrested by the ED, his business partner Sujit Patkar is under the radar of the Mumbai police. The Mumbai police have registered an FIR against him and 3 others in connection with the Lifeline hospital scam worth about 38 crore rupees. FIR has also been registered in Azad Maidan police station. Sujit Patkar and others are partners of the Lifeline hospital management. Saurabh Bhardwaj, while taking a jibe at the BJP, said that Raja Singh is not a big leader to give such a statement, and that the central leadership of the BJP is encouraging leaders like him and Nupur Sharma to make these controversial remarks. He further added that investments are taking place in Telangana and the BJP does not want that. Raids are being conducted at RJD leader Sunil Singh's residence in Patna. He is believed to be a close confidant of Lalu Yadav. This comes as fresh raids by the central agency are underway at multiple locations in Jharkhand and Bihar in its ongoing investigation in connection with illegal mining and extortion. The locations are linked. The ED is also conducting raids at 17 locations, including Harmu and Ashoknagar areas of Ranchi, on a matter related to illegal mining. It is also conducting raids simultaneously across various locations.
If you look in India, we are well on our way to Raj 2.0, run out of Delhi instead of run out of London.
Tamil Nadu Finance Minister Thiagarajan has sparked a massive roar, compared the Modi government to the British Raj. He was speaking at the Oxford Union address. According to DRDO officials, trials of the Pinaka extended range rocket are taking place in Pokhran firing range in Rajasthan, and successful test firings have been carried out during these tests developed by the DRDO. The rockets are produced by a private sector firm. The Assam Rifles has foiled cross-border smuggling of narcotics. In a joint operation with the Manipur police, cross-border smuggling of narcotics was busted, and 8.60 kgs of brown sugar worth 17.20 crores at Friendship Bridge in Manipur was recovered.
Ever since the formation of the Mahagathbandhan government in Bihar, we have been witnessing the rise in the crime graph. It seems that the administration is blindfolded to all these incidences. A firing has taken place in which one person was shot dead and one injured as well, and we got CCTV footage of incident. And day in and day out, incidences like this are occurring in different parts of Bihar.
This is going to be more trouble for Aam Aadmi Party, as we are seeing that Manish Sisodiya is already under the radar of CBI. Deputy Chief Minister is summoned, and this is in the defamation case which was filed by Hemanta Biswa Sarma. The allegation which was raised in by Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, that's Manish Sisodiya, and now
Illegal mining, liquor scam, SSE scam. Scams pile up. Can the opposition fight it out if corruption is an issue? Is corruption within the biggest challenge of the opposition? Debating tonight at 10 p.m.
burning question. Powered by Century Ply and Amrita Hospital, Faridabad.
Today's Wednesday, no? Protesters hit the streets against suspended BJP leader T. Raja Singh on day after he was granted bail. Rapid Action Force conducts flag march in Hyderabad as protests continue in several parts of the old city. Amid calls for Raja Singh's head, no action yet against Sar Tan Se Juda sloganiers. Bandh call in Hyderabad, shops and business establishments to be closed for 3 days in Old City amid tensions. Congress leader Feroz Khan confronted live on Republic TV. Hate monger asks Muslims to attack Raja Singh, gives ultimatum to KCR to arrest. Good evening this Wednesday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hyderabad is on the edge. Today we take a look at the protests that have rocked Hyderabad over suspended BJP MLA T. Raja Singh's comments against the Prophet. While action has been initiated against the leader, there are some who still continue to carry out protests calling for his beheading. A brutal act of barbarism as flag marches are carried out in Hyderabad to maintain law and order. The big question is, why no action is being taken against the Sar Tan Se Juda sloganiers? Remember, while these slogans were raised yesterday by AIM corporator and his group, today protesters were back on the streets sloganeering in Hyderabad's Shalibanda. Let's look at this report and come back for a debate.
Hyderabad is on the edge after suspended BJP MLA T. Raja was granted bail on Tuesday. The controversial comments by the serial offender have triggered protests across India. Even as the Rapid Action Force conducted a flag march to maintain law and order, sporadic protests were seen on the streets of the old city.
It is essentially a precautionary measure that is also being taken by the police, by the RAF that has been deployed. 3 battalions, in fact, of the RAF that have been deployed in 3 separate places. Sporadic protests, in fact, that are breaking out right now. They're protesting right in front of this RAF flag march that is going on. You can see these protests, in fact, that are carrying out. You can see right behind me, as you see these people, in fact, who were passing by and they have stopped by and they're raising those black flags, protesting against Raja Singh, protesting against the kind of statements that Raja Singh had made.
Similar scenes were witnessed since last night around Charminar after Nampally Metropolitan Magistrate Court granted him bail. While T. Raja's lawyer has alleged that he has been receiving threat calls.
Advocate of MLA Raja Singh has argued the case. After he got his remand got rejected. Since last night, I have been receiving several threatening calls with death threats and also abusing me in the most filthy language.
After AIMIM corporator-led protests yesterday where Sar Tan Se Juda slogans were raised, this morning the call for beheading the leader was seen by protesters in Hyderabad. Hate-monger T. Raja Singh has been suspended, but why no action against the Sar Tan Se Juda sloganiers? No arrests against beheading calls? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Welcome friends, let's try to understand what's this Sar Tan Se Juda. Joining me, Professor Pawan Sinha, Hindu scholar live from Delhi, Karan Verma, author and political analyst, leans towards the BJP live from Lucknow, Altaf Khan, leader of the Shiv Sena Shinde camp, used to be with the MNS earlier. And then on the other side, Shahid Ali, National President, United Muslim Front and loyal, live from Delhi. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, live from Bengaluru. And then Bachchu Srinivas, spokesperson TRS. Let me begin with you, Mr. Srinivas. It's been 24 hours. There was some technicality, a technical ground on which T. Raja Singh was granted bail Why is your government not able to correct that mistake and get him behind bars again if he has made such a big mistake? Mr. Srinivas.
Yeah, very good evening to everyone, and very happy to join the debate. And I didn't understand what technicality has to be rectified by the government. Law will take its own action. The police people are arrested, Mr. Raja Singh, and he has taken into the custody where he has made the controversial statements, and people have given the complaint against him. So he arrested and he sent to the jail, and his advocates went for the bail as per the constitution. He got the bail, and why should our government has to rectify? And what has to rectify? Where we have to rectify? I didn't understand exactly.
Shahid Ali, okay, I take your word. I take your word. See, the thing is, Shahid Ali, the TRS representative here is saying that the law is taking its own course. The government has no role in it. Police is carrying out whatever procedures they need to. It's a court. Remember, it's lower judiciary. It reports directly to the government there. And it's a court which has said that due process was not followed in T. Raja Singh's arrest. Now, what is the Sar Tan Se Juda? From where is it coming, Mr. Shahid Ali?
These things are called just eyewash. And since all governments, almost all governments, have just been trying to do eyewash only. Therefore, the resentment is so high. The peoples have been...
Okay, TRS government is doing eyewash, you are saying?
Hello? Ji.
Yeah, TRS government, you are saying that TRS government under KCR is doing eyewash.
Not only TRS government, but all governments, whosoever is dealing with these kind of things. If the punishment, see, for such kind of things, the punishment should be deterrent. Punishment should not only be seen, but it should be felt by everyone that this kind of punishment may be, if you will make this kind of a statement. Now all governments, even the BJP government, what BJP government did in Nupur Sharma's case, Nupur Sharma so far has not been arrested. Now this TRS government has left a lacuna which has not been filled even till date. So this all causes resentment among the public.
I'll come back to Bachchu Srinivas on that. Bachchu Srinivas, you are saying law will take its own course, but Shahid Ali of the United Muslim Front is not happy. It seems your constituents are not happy with your position there in Hyderabad.
Sorry, we are not active. I'm sorry.
Your constituents are not happy with you, sir. Shahid Ali is saying that due process of law that you are saying is all eyewash of the TRS government. Shahid Ali is accusing you of eyewash.
No, not at all. It is not like that. We never go out of the law. We never go out of the constitution. It is not like that. We are not against to any constituencies, and we are not against to any MLAs. We see all equally. See, he made a lot of controversial issues, and there are a lot of people who has complained against him. Where we are not doing like that? How we are doing that? Are you getting me?
Okay, so you are not going to take the bait. Let me take this to Karan Verma. Karan Verma, the case of Hyderabad police against T. Raja Singh was under sections 153A, 295A,
right,
504, 5 and 6. Now, there is a certain punishment for that under Indian Penal Code. We are all governed by the IPC when it comes to police and criminal matters. From where this Sar Tan Se Juda is coming, and how do you take that?
Well, I'm so surprised that the TRS spokesperson here said that we are following the law. How about arresting those people who are brazenly making these calls to behead someone? Isn't that threat to murder? And they're doing it in broad daylight. And you've not shown any action you have not done against them. You are very prompt in arresting T. Raja, and rightly so. There is no place for hate speech. But an open threat to murder, and you stay quiet because of vote bank considerations, isn't that brazen hypocrisy? And I make a larger point here, Abhishek. Till we are going to shield these people who make open calls to behead, we are not going to get rid of radicalization. Radicalization is taking everyone in its storm, and its political parties like TRS who are in bed with AIMIM, which is patronizing these
No,
sorts
if
of
Raja
slogans.
Singh is
They
right,
are
if
not
Raja
taking
Singh
any
is right,
action.
if what Raja Singh is doing is right, why the
And
BJP
what about those
suspended
who
him?
are shouting Sartan se juda? What about those who
You
are
tell me
shouting
why the
Sartan se
BJP
juda?
suspended
I am
him.
condemning what T. Raja did. But why are you not taking action against those who are making these calls right before you, right in front of police stations?
Definitely, we never excuse it.
Why
We
are you
never
not
excuse
filing an
anybody.
FIR against them?
People who will
You
try
owe
to do
an
the
answer
violence,
today.
we definitely,
You are playing with national
we are going
security
to
here.
take action. Everybody, wait
Why
and
are
see the
you sleeping
situation.
over it?
We take
Are you
control
waiting
of
for
entire city.
Are you waiting
We
for a
never
tragedy
allow
to
the
come?
violence in Hyderabad. You can't say that we are not taking any action.
You have
will
not
see
taken
the
any
punishment.
action.
How
But
they
you are
are
allowing, let me come in here. Karan Verma, hold on. Karan Verma, hold on, let me come in here. But you are allowing threat of violence. In fact, all day we had pictures of protesters shouting, Sar Tan se juda, Mr. Srinivas, shouting Sar Tan se juda under the watchful eyes of the police. Police was not acting.
No, you come and see the Hyderabad. It is fully control of Telangana state government. We never allow, we never excuse anybody. Just wait and see how we are going to tackle the situation.
Karan Verma, hold on.
Since last 8.5 years, nobody has did anything. That is the Telangana state. Nothing will happen in Telangana state. We strictly telling if anybody is
Karan
trying to
Verma,
do
hold on.
something
Let me
violent-
Karan Verma, hold on. Let me get Syed Asad Abbas. Syed Asad Abbas, you know, IPC section 153A, the punishment is 5 years if you are convicted. IPC section 295A, the conviction is 4 years. The punishment is 4 years. Similarly for IPC 500, 4, 5 and 6, 4 years. These are the sections under which Telangana police or Hyderabad police has charged T. Raja Singh. Now, what should be the punishment for these protesters who are shouting Sar Tan se juda, which is criminal intimidation and which is not part of Indian law?
Abhishek Saab, I have great reverence for you as an anchor and your fair moderation. Kindly allow me a minute only to give out a message to all the people of Hyderabad, everyone involved, be it T. Raja supporters or be it those otherwise. The fact of the matter, those people who are shouting that Gustakhe Rasool ki ek hi saza, they need to understand what was the Prophet Muhammad and his character. When he was on his way, there was a lady who used to throw garbage at him every single day. After a week, he did not see that lady throwing garbage at him. He went to the lady's house and asked for her well-being. He asked, Madam, are you all right? How is your health? If you're doing okay. That is how the Prophet is and his character. Even those who might say bad against him or throw garbage at him,
yes, absolutely,
wish well for them. So therefore, that is the point I'm trying to drive. Abhishek Saab.
Okay. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that's an example he has set. Syed Asad Abbas, hold on. Syed Asad Abbas, hold on. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that's an example he has set. But let me get the director to play a... Let me get the... Karan Verma, hold on. Let me get the director to play a clip of Akbaruddin Owaisi and see what kind of example set by Prophet Muhammad Akbaruddin Owaisi is following. Then I'll come back. Just listen to what Akbaruddin Owaisi said some time back.
ये लोगों के खुदायां हैं, वो क्या क्या जो पूजा करते हैं, कितने राम लक्ष्मण दुर्गा लक्ष्मी फुला क्या क्या है, कितने वही हर 8 दिन में एक नया पैदा हो जाता है. अब तो नए आ गए, गणेश थे वो थे महाराज, अब हनुमान जयंती आ गई, रामनवमी आ गई, लक्ष्मी मालूम थी, ये भाग्य लक्ष्मी आज तक नहीं सुने, ये कौन सी नहीं है भाई, और दुर्गा सुने, ये सुने. बहरहाल मैं क्या बोलूं, कैसे कैसे नामा है, ये मुबारक महफिल में वो मनुष्य नामों को लेके खराब करना नहीं चाहता.
All right, Syed Asad Abbas, now tell me, which example of Prophet Muhammad is Akbaruddin Owaisi following? Which sar tan se juda punishment should be